they know you're gonna be a lottery pick in the draft, NFL. Hey, so he got to pay attention to that.
I'm back, Professor. So thanks for holding that down too, real quick. I had to go ahead and delete some of this stuff on the StreamYard, but shout out to everybody coming in, Professor. Like he's saying, we see the dollar signs associated with Travis Hunter. He's been since he came out in high school. He was a consensus #1 player coming out of high school, so he had all the hoopla and everything else, and he's lived up to the actual expectations. He's actually exceeded the actual expectations, only becoming the second defensive player to actually win the Heisman, even though he plays both offense and defense. So what he did was something that's never been seen before. Shout out to my people on YouTube. Shout out to my people over here on X. For all my people coming in on YouTube tonight, guys, make sure you go ahead and share tonight's program, like it, leave a comment. Definitely do all that good stuff. Same for my people over here on X. Definitely go ahead and retweet out the space as well, too, guys. Like I was saying before, and Professor was holding it down, we're talking about Travis Hunter, his girlfriend, and we're also talking about Dr. Umar Johnson. We want to know, did Dr. Umar Johnson give Africans a pass for the slave trade? Couldn't get it all up on the up here in the jump, all up in the headline for X, but on YouTube, you guys see it. Shout out to you, Nightfall over there. And I'm gonna go ahead real quick. What's up, Black Pressure? I see you, Professor. I'm gonna go ahead real quick. It's a couple articles by Travis Hunter and his girlfriend that I want to touch up on real quick. Let me know if you can still hear me, Professor. Can you still hear me? Can you hear me, Professor? Oh, let me see, Professor. Let me make sure the audio, guys, because sometimes you go to these YouTube videos, not YouTube, but you go to the actual articles and they can't hear you. Professor, can you hear me there? Professor, can you hear me? Can the space hear me? Because it seemed like everything froze. Can you guys hear me? If you guys can hear me, Pressure, Reraw, Ray, give me a hands up if you guys can hear me in the space. I'm hoping the space ain't froze up on us. Okay, the ill is okay. So maybe Professor may have stepped away. Professor might have stepped away. So I'm gonna go ahead real quick and I'm gonna touch up on this article real quick, guys. And just go ahead and get the things rolling real quick because I want you guys to hear this as well too. There's a couple articles. The first one I tweeted out a few days ago. That article kind of got a lot of attention. It's from Black Sports Online. It says, video coach Deion Sanders wants Travis Hunter to have a prenup with his wife-to-be, Leanna. So Coach Prime Deion Sanders has been really pushing for Travis Hunter to have a prenup with his wife-to-be. Give me 1 second because it's pop-up coming. His wife-to-be, Leanna Aline Hunter and Leanna have been planning their wedding and finally settled on a date. Hunter even shared the date with his teammate, Shador Sanders, on Shador's 2 legendary podcasts, which left Shador surprised. Shador even offered his father's home as a venue for the wedding, but Hunter wanted to make sure Leanna got the wedding of her dreams. Talk about being a quality man, both on and off the field. Now, Coach Deion Sanders has been discussing the idea of a prenup with Travis, but it doesn't seem like Travis is going to take his advice. He is head over heels in love with Leanna, and it seems like he's not willing to entertain the idea of a prenup. Well, at the end of the day, Travis knows what's best for him in his relationship. Coach Prime can offer his advice, but ultimately it's Travis who has to make the decision. Let's hope everything works out for them. So, Deion Sanders, who a superstar athlete himself, legendary Hall of Famer, football player, multi-sport superstar, is trying to go ahead and trying to put the little bug in his ear to say, hey, you know what? Deion's been married a couple of times. Pressure, I'm trying to bring you up. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to bring you up here too, Pressure. Deion's been married a couple of times, so he's trying to just kind of put that bug in his ear and say, you know what, son, before you go ahead and commit, and even though this may be the woman of your dreams and you're madly in love, go ahead and protect, your future earnings. Professor say drop him because I think he might be in the matrix. So, Professor, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna drop you down. You get a chance, come back up here. He's trying to protect the young man, his future earnings, potential, and everything else as well too. From the actual article, and it's from Black Sports Online. I don't know how true it is, but it doesn't seem like he's he's too keen on the prenup. Even though sometimes people say, "Hey, you know what? If I'm really madly in love with somebody, why would I have them sign a prenup?" By signing a prenup, I'm pretty much saying that I don't think the relationship's going to work and this and that or whatever. It's not so much that. It's just a way of protection for yourself. Hey, you know what? Nobody wants to see you go broke, anything like that. So protect yourself, protect your investments, protect your future earnings, and everything else as well too. And and Pressure, what's up? I see you up here, Professor. You straight now? I know you had to drop down.
Yeah, I'm back in now, man. Keep me out for some reason.
Okay, we got Professor back up here. Shout out Nightfall says, "Damn a prenup. Travis needs to drop that B off at school's front gate. She's in it for the clout and the money, and Dion knows better than any of us." Nightfall also said there's too much tape of her glaring red flags because she's madly in love with your future earnings. Professor, go ahead and get this thing started, man.
Yeah, y'all, I agree with Nightfall. I agree with all the brothers that have spoken or gave their comments about this. This woman is in it for the money, okay? And so Travis Hunter needs to protect himself at all costs because she is giving off the vibes that she's not in it to be with him. She's in it only because she can see those dollar signs because this brother is about to be paid. You hear me? And he's already getting paid now. But you got to think of what his earnings going to be once he gets to the NFL level. So he's got a lot of endorsements, a lot of money come from the NFL. This brother is one of the best college football players right now that have ever came along to play on two sides of the ball, offense and defense, right? And so you got to look at the talent that he's bringing into the NFL because he might even get a chance to play both sides. Usually in the NFL, they want you to, pick one side, but they might just give him the opportunity to play both. So, with that being said, this woman can see that with him. And quite frankly, I would put this woman somewhere where she can be picked up by ICE and deported back to where she came from. That's right. She needs to be deported. There you go.
All right, appreciate that, Professor Quadell. I'm gonna get to you. Let me read this other article real quick. It's a short article too, and then we're gonna go ahead and move on and get to this. I'm gonna get the Quadell on here. Black Pressure. Hopefully, we can get some of the sisters up in here, guys. Make sure y'all go ahead and retweet the space out as well too. Definitely go ahead and retweet the space out. Let me get to the other article that we have as well too. It's from Atlanta Black Star, I believe. And this came out today. This was published today. It says, its title says, "If he didn't care, neither should y'all." Travis Hunter's fiance exposed for OnlyFans account as Heisman winner blasts critics of his relationship. University of Colorado wide receiver and cornerback Travis Hunter had a roller coaster weekend that included winning the prestigious award and having to defend his fiance, Leanna Lani. 121 won the 2024 Heisman Trophy on December 14, beating out Oregon quarterback Dylan Gabriel, Ashton Gentry, and Miami quarterback Cam Ward. It's crazy. Your belief will take you a long way. It's actually crazy, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you. First, I want to thank my fiance and my mother. Hunter said during the acceptance speech. He continued, "They've been with me since the first time I had surgery, my first year of college. They never took a step away from me. All the hard hours, all the hard days, all the times I didn't want to wake up and even get on my phone, look at football. Y'all stayed with me. I'm very thankful for y'all." Hunter was joined in New York City's Lincoln Center by his girlfriend, his mother, and Colorado coach Deion Sanders and teammate Shedeur Sanders. After the Heisman winner was announced, Sanders could be seen tapping Leanna on the shoulder to get her up out of the seat as Hunter walked into their direction. Hunter then hugged his loved ones who were seated in the front row, starting with the fiance, then his mother. Some people online took Sanders' action as the retired NFL player subtly was telling Lani to stand up to show support for a future husband. That narrative led to social media users slamming the 23-year-old, a graduate over the perceived slight to Hunter. Why ain't she about her man winning the Heisman? An ex-user asked. Another person answered, because it's not shining light on her. A supporter of her tweeted, maybe she didn't want to make the moment about her. A critic replied, by doing that, she made it about her. Guys, I'm stuck on this page here. This page is kind of crashed, so let me see if it'll let me keep reading. Yet another person offered. Dion reached over to pat her on the shoulder and congratulations, while Travis was heading over to hug her. That caused her to stand. In addition, she was accused of being a gold digger, as many people want her to get away from the woman he plans to wed in May 2025. So, guys, they have a wedding coming up ultra quick. 1 minute y'all saying she trying to be in everything, like she was shooting in the gym, drop her. The next y'all saying she don't want to be in the mix, drop her. Read another tweet in defense of Hunter's partner. Apparently the online hate caused her to make changes to her internet presence by making her Instagram account private. She has more than 189,000 followers on the platform. According to the neighborhood talk, Hunter shot back at his fiance's haters during a 2-hour Twitch live stream. The clip of the Georgia native with his Heisman Trophy in the background has gone viral. You ain't never had no girl, so while you're talking about me, find something else to talk about, the Georgia native said in the video. Talking about my girl, go find a girl, go find a life, stop worrying about me, what I got going on. He noted that no one had anything to say about her within the 5 years he claims they've been dating until now. Like I said, this page is kind of, I don't know what's up with this page here. I'm kind of like stuck. Let me see. The man added that, let me see if I could, I'm trying to find, what the hell? Give me 1 second, y'all, because this page is like moving hella slow. It's got one of these, I don't know if I can do this thing with this page. I may have to come off because I'm stuck. Hey, Professor, can you hear me still? I think I am stuck in the matrix. Professor, can you hear me? I'm not sure if our people on X can hear me, guys. I'm trying to come up out of this page here, but it's like I'm stuck in the matrix or something.
Is that page freezing up? Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's like it has, when it has like a video plan or something. So I'm gonna see if I can just come up out of here because I'm stuck in it. Yeah, I couldn't read that whole article, so let me go ahead and get to you guys. But it's pretty much just talking about now people accusing her also of having an OnlyFans page and all this other stuff as well too, and being a stripper. They talking about she worked at this club, and they're talking about in Atlanta called Cheetahs or something like that as well too. So it's kind of taking a nasty turn, unfortunately. I'm with this here. I like to see the brother go ahead and get him a prenup. In the day's age, I can kind of understand him wanting some privacy. He's a very visible young man, so when they see him, he's all over social media and this and that or whatever. So there's been blowback. People have been saying stuff about her for a while, about her, her demeanor and her attitude and everything else like that. So I think he's just trying to sort through it. I see Quadir was up here, but looked like Quadir was having some issues. Ray, go ahead, and hopefully Quadir come back up here as well too.
What's going on, y'all? I'm driving, so if you can't hear me, I apologize. So I'm gonna just keep it very brief, man. I really hope this works out for this brother, but I mean, you can't blame Deion Sanders at the end of the day because, again, this man is advising this man to get a prenup. I remember when he was at Jackson State, he actually brought in Brittany Renner and tried to help the young men. She was telling the young men, like, hey, watch out for women like me because I'm going to try to trap you. So, I mean, he's young, he's in love. He's probably not going to listen, and that's the sad part is he's going to find out the hard way that everyone else, hopefully he's wrong, but, if it ends up going south, he's going to have no one to blame but himself because they're trying to tell him, get this prenup. Go ahead and protect your assets because, again, Deion's been married a couple times, and we've seen, with his wife, kind of put him through, for people that's watching the reality shows and stuff, man. again, I really hope this works out for this brother. I really do. But I mean, when you got people that's trying to help you and you don't want to listen, it's like the old saying go. I think it goes, was it everybody plays the fool, and there's no exception to the rule. And it seems like that's what that brother's going to have to do. He's going to have to learn the hard way. And I land there.
All right, thank you, Professor. Like I said, Quadil was up here, but he disconnected. But yeah, you're pretty much right, Ray. Dion's been married a couple times. Of course, if you remember his wife Pilar, he had that incident years ago where I don't know what happened at the house, but basically Dion locked himself in the room to try to get away from her, had his kids in there, and was texting, just pretty much, I guess, talking about the actual situation that was going on. I don't know if she had a homegirl with her and they was trying to break in the door or something. I can't remember. It's been some years ago, but I know he was pretty much trying to stay out of harm's way. I guess he didn't want to catch no charge or nothing like that as well, too, which, he pretty much locked himself in the room or whatever. And so now he's trying to just go ahead and look out for the dude. This dude's going to get ready. He's going to make Travis Hunter is going to be a top 5 pick in the April NFL draft. He's going to get a guaranteed contract, guaranteed money. Forget the contract, but the actual guaranteed money that's going to be his. He's going to get at least anywhere from $15 to $30 million guaranteed. So, and I think he's already, if I'm not mistaken, I believe a few weeks ago, a week or two ago or something, I believe he actually's already bought a house for his mother because, these guys get the money now in college, the NIL. So he's already, done something nice for the mother. He's already bought her a home and stuff as well, too. So he's getting ready to make a serious killing. You throw in the fact that once this girl right here, they go ahead and they get married and she pops out 1 or 2 kids, bruh, if she leaves you, she is definitely taking half of that money. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about that. So Dion's trying to say, hey, you know what? Go ahead and protect future assets. Go ahead and protect your brand that you've been building up, and and do what's best for you as well too. Yes, you're getting married, and yeah, you have to look out for your you have to look out for your future wife and everything like that. But go ahead, make sure your future's solidified, and make sure that you're taking care of yourself first and foremost, because we know the stories. We've heard the stories of many ball players that end up broke after they get out the NFL or whatever. Go ahead, do what you got to do. Nothing wrong for protecting your woman as well too, and making sure she's financially set. But you got to go ahead and protect those assets that you've already accumulated. Like Travis Hunter's already made, I'm sure, a couple $1 million since he's been in college. He hasn't even officially declared for the NFL draft yet. And because he's in this day and age, this era right now with the NIL, he's already inked some contracts. He's already got some money. So now on his first contract, unlike a lot of these other players, he has a chance to make generational wealth. In the first check, he may get drafted in April. He may just be an average player. He may even be a bust and don't amount to anything like that. But he's going to get $15 to $30 million guaranteed money. That is generational. That is life-changing type wealth right there. So, yeah, man, go ahead and protect that. Go ahead and protect that asset. You are the asset. So go ahead and protect yourself and do what you got to do. And nobody's saying now not to get married or anything like that. You're going to get married. I believe he's only, 21, 22 years of age. He's getting married kind of young. But if that's what you want to do, they talk about getting married in May of 2025. That's right around the corner before you know it. So as he's getting ready to get drafted and he gets ready to head into an NFL training camp, he'll be a married man. Go ahead, Ray.
Now, I kind of get where the brother's coming from. What I mean by that, I mean is by Travis Hunter, because, obviously he's been with this girl a couple of years before the money, before the fame. So he sees her as being loyal, so I kind of get it. But at the same time, and I don't want to sound like a hypocrite, because I actually got married when I was young. I got married when I was like 22, 23 years old. And me and my girl, we've been together since 11th grade. Like, I've known her for 20 years. So I get it. I don't want to sound like a hypocrite, because, again, if this person's been with you since day one, you want them to come up and have, and be there with you. But the only problem is that this young lady she's obviously showing you red flags. Like, I don't know if you seen this video. There's actually a video of her.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, there's he has a video. I think after he won the Heisman, and she's in the video. And if you look at her hand, she has a tattoo of like dollar signs on her hand, on her ring finger. So I don't, maybe I'm just reading into it too much, but I'm like, it's kind of a red flag. Obviously, the things that's been said, such as so like I said, I'm driving y'all, so excuse me. A couple things that's been said, like when Travis was after he won the Heisman, and he was having autograph signing with people that obviously want to take pictures with the new Heisman winner. She's sitting there like she kind of has an attitude, and she's saying like, how long you gotta sit here? And he was like, why don't you just go to the hotel? Like, if you didn't want to stay, why don't you just go to the hotel? Just little stuff. Maybe we're reading into it. Like I said, we don't know the young lady, but again, like I said, the OnlyFans stuff, which not everyone that does OnlyFans is a bad person, but her hiding or lying about it, from what I'm hearing. The OnlyFans stuff and all the stuff that's been going on in public. Dion having to prompt her to stand up, to tell her to stand up and hug her man on the biggest night of his life. Just stuff like that. It's like, come on, brother. And like I said, he's young, man. I hate to say it, but most of these young dudes, they gotta learn the hard way.
Real talk. And I think too, Ray, also on the football field, one of those games a couple months ago, it seemed like they was getting into some kind of little spat out there, and people were talking about the I guess the little blow up, a little minor blow up they had on the field right after the game. She was out there, he's still in uniform and everything else. So like you say, people have been saying these little warning signs and this, and then I know she was saying, yeah.
I hate to cut you off, but I just wanted to elaborate on that. So what happened, from what I seen, he scored a touchdown and got an interception, and he just so happened to be in front of one of the cheerleaders' faces. And his girlfriend, allegedly, she didn't like that. I guess, he was up in her face for a second or whatever.
Okay. Well, I know, damn, it was something else I was going to say too, but I forgot. Let me go ahead and I see Nightfall and Black Pressure. Let me go ahead and get to them. Nightfall, go ahead. What's going on with you tonight?
What's going on? Can you hear me, Toter?
You're a little low, but I can hear you. Go ahead.
All right, great. Hello, everybody in the space. I know it's been a while since we've been together, but I've always been here with you. Let it be said that when people show you who they are, you best believe it. This chick has way too many red flags, just way too many. And unfortunately for Travis, it's showing. He's a single mom raised young man, and he's gotten himself a little piece, and he's in love, and everything seems grapevine and wonderful. And look, don't nobody in here want nothing bad happening to this young man at all. We want nothing but the very best for him. Most especially, Coach Prime wants the very best for him. And if he's telling you, look, at least protect yourself somewhere down the line, if you ain't gonna listen to him, ain't nothing we can say for him. But by the same token, bruh, when this goes sideways, we don't want to hear you crying neither. Because we told you from the gate, she ain't all there. And especially considering the fact you're about to go to the NFL, you're about to sit up here and not just get generational wealth, you're about to get instantaneous generational wealth. And you're going to be off doing what you got to do. You got all these endorsement deals you got to deal with. You're going to have all of these, sponsorships and things that you're going to have to sit up here and do. You're not going to be in her face 24/7. And worse still, she's not going to be in your face either. And if you don't think that dudes in the NFL are a bunch of hoes, sorry, it is what it is. But they are. And all you got to do is do something or say one thing that will upset her. And the next thing you know, she's sitting here, playing first and 10 with somebody else on your dime, in your house, in your car. And God forbid you get married in California or New York, it's over for you. It don't matter if you got videotape of them doing it or not. She is going to get paid. And that's a sad thing. So, I really don't know what else to tell him at this point. Hope it gets better for him, and I hope that, it all works out well. But it ain't looking too good right now. That's it. I'll land.
Thank you, Nightfall. You pretty much summed it up perfectly as well, too. Let me go ahead and get the Black Pressure. Pressure, go ahead and unmute your mic.
What's up, Nose?
What's up, Pressure?
What's up, Black fam? check this out. I got a special request. You don't have to concede with. I need you to kick all the women out of here tonight. It's not the place for them.
Yeah, I can't do that. But go ahead.
Yeah, I need to kick them all out just for the fellas tonight. So check this out, man. News for real. And I'm just come off the dump for real. Like the last brother that spoke, I don't know anything about the dude's his upbringing. I don't. But like I say, the last brother that spoke, he had to be raised by a woman. He had to be. Bro, I'm not gonna lie, and I know a lot of people might not agree with this, but I think Kobe Bryant's parents were right to quit talking to him. And I think that he needs tough love like that. Because man, somebody has to get through to this brother, man. You are literally about to marry a sex worker, dude. Are you serious? Look, I'm gonna say this, News. When I was coming up, kid like that, I actually got game from a woman. I got game from men mostly, but my grandmother gamed me up. She say, "Boy, better stay away from little fast tail little girls." And my daddy's and uncles, hey, don't get the little girl pregnant. Don't come back with no babies. You're young. You got your whole life ahead of you. Go to school. Build yourself. I got all that game from my family. Who is talking to this young man? That's for real. That's a real quick. Brother, when I was 16, 17, I was a whole player. And I'm not saying that as far as the act. The action, I'm talking about as far as my mentality. It was like the last brother said, if these white people say they're going to back up a truck full of $100 bills, I don't have no damn girlfriend when I'm 19, 20 years old. So I'm going to mute up because I want everybody else to say what they got to say. But somebody failed this kid. And I'm not, Dion was telling it right. Somebody failed this young man epically, and I'll mute up and listen.
Appreciate that, Pressure. Let me add to it. I don't see anything wrong with him. 18, 19. We had girlfriends at a young age and stuff like that. A lot of us had, whether you was in high school or college, whatever, you had girlfriends and stuff like that. My issue with this is it's right here, like you say, and Nightfall said it, and Ray said it, the warning signs and everything else. And I know sometimes we can look at stuff and we say, well, this is minute, this is little, this is whatever. My thing is this right here. Here you have Deion Sanders who sees himself in Travis Hunter. Let's be for real. Deion was a two-way player at times, occasionally. Nothing to the never used to the extent that this kid here was at Florida State. Occasionally they put him in there. He might catch a couple passes throughout the year, but nothing like this. I think Deion is the last NFL player to actually play both ways with the Cowboys, and he ended up getting hurt that year. So he only did it for maybe half a season or something like that. But he sees himself in Travis Hunter because of the raw athleticism, the ability to talk it up and also perform as well too. Deion said, "Hey, you know what, son? I've been married twice, and the kind of money that I made in my career, just with inflation and just with the way things are in sports now, you're going to make double, triple that. So don't go ahead and just go ahead and squander it and give it all away. Yeah, you may be madly in love. She may be, your heart and soul and this and that. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you want to get married, if you feel like you have to get married at this age right now, even though you're young as I don't know what, but if you want to get married at this age, okay, fine. All I'm saying is this is just like getting insurance. This is just like getting life insurance, health insurance, or whatever type of insurance that you got. All you're doing is getting insurance to make sure that your money is going to be taken care of in the unfortunate event that you guys separate. That she divorces you and she moves on or whatever. And Nightfall said it right. You be in the right state like California, one of these places like that. It ain't gonna matter. Once she marries you and she pops out a kid or two, she's going to take half of that money right now. So the man's trying to tell you, like, hey, I've been there. I've done that. I made, I'm sure Deion in his career probably made $50-60 million. Well, this guy right here, if he lives up to the hype and everything else, he has a chance to make over $100 million between his contract and endorsements and everything else like that. Like I say, coming up in late April or May, whenever they have the NFL draft, he's going to get a guaranteed contract from one of these teams for at least anywhere from $15 to $30 million. So he's already for be an instant millionaire, generational wealth, and everything else like that as well too. And that's kind of issue we have with some of our and Nightfall, you not Nightfall, but Pressure, you touched up on something I was talking to my dad about. And I said it's one of the reasons that Kobe Bryant and his parents had a falling out. Not so much that it was that he was really young when he got married. I think Kobe was 21, 22 when he did get married. But the fact too that they weren't exactly sold on the person he was getting married. Now, in fairness of him, Kobe he was married to Vanessa Bryant up until the day he died. In that unfortunate accident. He was married with her, and their relationship was pretty private. You didn't see Vanessa, kind of, I couldn't imagine Kobe sitting up there on the interview and Vanessa Bryant sitting up there saying, you know what, well, when I met Kobe, I wasn't attracted to him. He wasn't really my type. And like, Kobe would have did like a double take and looked at her like, what are you talking about? Like, so, just subtle little things like that, I think kind of irks a lot of men, especially a lot of black men. And we just sitting up here like, man, come on, like, dude, don't do it. And Pressure mentioned the sex worker part. I don't, like I say, I don't know how substantial that is, guys. I don't know about the stripping and the OnlyFans, if she had OnlyFans, exactly whatever. But that is going to be a head turn and stuff like that. The crazy thing is that this guy, Travis Hunter, is not only is he an exceptional football player, but I think he's something like a 4.0 student as well too. So book smart wise, the athleticism, the book smarts, and everything that you could want, he possesses that. The only thing is that when you have somebody like Dion, who was also raised by a single mother, but also had game and everything else as well too, he's telling from his own experience, because like I say, when Dion sees his kid, he sees himself in Travis Hunter. He sees Travis Hunter as almost being a Dion type clone. He does not want to see this kid fall off and not make it. So, he's saying this out of love. He wants to make sure that the brother go ahead, lives up to his potential. And, we know the NFL, the average career is 3-4 years. So Travis Hunter goes out there and God forbid he gets a career-ending injury or he has to step away from the game. Well, man, you at least got that $15 to $30 million of guaranteed money set aside as well, too. So, unlike everybody else that went to college and maybe they had to start, once they got out of college, they had to pay loans, student loans. You don't have to pay anything back. You made probably a couple million, or at least a couple million in college already. You've already bought a house for your mother. I'm sure he's going to do something for his father as well, too. People just want to make sure that, man, that you're straight, that you're taken care of, that you're all right. So I can go ahead, Percy, because I know you want to say something.
No, I just want to say something. Let's pump the brakes on him being as good as Dion. That's a negative.
No, I'm not saying he is. I'm saying Dion. Let's be for real. Dion himself sees him in there. Like, until you actually play in the NFL, to me, Dion is the greatest cornerback of all time. I mean, I don't think he's going to be a greater cornerback than Dion. Could he be potentially a greater all-around play if he does play some offense, defense? That's a possibility. But he's not, to me, no, he's not going to be. He's not the cornerback, the defensive player that Deion Sanders is.
Remember, who knows? Dion was football, track, basketball. He was all that. He just, there's pump the brakes on.
Oh yeah, I mean, but. Yeah, I know. I'm just saying from a football perspective. I'm saying that he's coming in with a lot of. He's coming in with even something that Deion Sanders didn't have coming out of college. That's a Heisman Trophy. Deion won the Thorpe Award, the best cornerback, but he's coming in with even some accolades that even Deion Sanders. The guy plays cornerback. Yet I think he was he had over 1,000 yards receiving. That's what I'm saying. He's a unicorn in his own right. He has he has unique ability.
You think he's better than Charles Wilson?
He's a better wide receiver than Charles Woodson was.
Yeah, Charles Wilson will lay that wood on you.
Yeah, he's a better wide receiver. Now cornerback wise, that's kind of hard to say, but Deion's better than all of them cornerback wise if we want to be real about it. But I'm just saying, what I'm saying is from the financial standpoint, what I'm saying, Precious, is that this kid is going to make Deion got drafted in the 1989 draft. So Deion didn't see anywhere near it took Deion 2 contracts, maybe three contracts before he saw this kind of money that he's going to see right off the bat. There was no cornerback in 1989 was going to come out and get a guaranteed contract for $15-30 million. Forget just everything else on your contract and the incentives and everything. I'm saying he's going to get $15 to $30 million of guaranteed money. So I'm saying that's the difference as well too. He's going to be a high pick because of his versatility, because he can play offense and he can play defense. So that's all I'm saying. I'm saying Deion Sanders, and I know Deion Sanders looks into Travis Hunter and he sees a player such as himself in there. He believes that he has that type of athleticism that he possesses. Is he as fast or maybe as all around as athletic as Deion? Maybe not. But I'm saying Deion looks into this guy and he sees it, and he also knows some of the mistakes he made, getting married and maybe not, not having a prenup in place or whatever, or maybe in the second marriage he did have a prenup in place, and he's just trying to go ahead and say, hey, you know what, I'm going to pass it along to you the same way. Deion's been a father figure to him since he's been on that campus. So like a father would reach out to his son or whatever and say, you know what, hey man, this is what you need to do, man. You don't need to go ahead and do this or do that, whatever. He's just trying to give him some game. So that's all I'm saying, is that Deion is trying to look out for a player that he considers almost like family. And then he sees that player, he sees a lot of himself in that player as well too. And he doesn't want to see the young man mess himself up. Go ahead, Nightfall, and I'm gonna get to Ray. And oh yeah, we're gonna touch up on the Umar thing in a second too, guys.
Okay, yeah, my bad. Real quick. Just something that I was sitting there thinking about. Just a couple of real quick observations. First and foremost, when we're talking about Travis Hunter, understand that we're talking about your quote-unquote slightly better than average black guy at this particular moment. And I know that myself and Ray and anybody else who has ever been in the military, when you were in school, there was always that 1, 2, or 3 really, really, really pretty girls that you went to school with. You're like, man, she's the greatest thing I've ever seen. Whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. And luckily you got to be with her. Or you just got to be around her. Or whatever the case may be. But she was the most beautiful thing that you'd ever seen up to that point in your life. But once you had an opportunity to get out into the real world, away from your small school, away from your city, away from your town, away from your neighborhood, and you start to actually look around and you see all of these other women in Chicago, women in Miami, women up there in D.C., in New York, down in Texas. Man, it's a candy store-like feeling. You damn near breaking your neck sitting here looking at one beautiful girl after another. And I don't care how loyal you are as a man, that slithery, slimy, sneaky part of your psyche is going to sit here and say, let's get some of that, let's get some of that, let's get some of that, let's get some of that. And it happens. It's perfectly natural. And if this girl is having such a crash out over the small things that she's going through now, and he's still just a small town hero, she ain't gonna make it. But the last observation that I want to make, and I know this is gonna break a lot of folks' hearts when I say it. If you look at that picture that Toto is using for this kid and his girlfriend, does anybody else see Steve McNair and Jenny Kazemi? I'm just asking.
That's a good. We definitely know the tragedy of the woman. For those that don't know who Steve McNair was a great football player. He had retired also as well too, and he was having an affair with this Arab woman who ended up doing a lover's type suicide. When McNair went to sleep, she ended up shooting him and then shooting herself as well too. This happened back in 2009. Matter of fact, it happened a week after Michael Jackson died. So I was in I think I was in Destin, and we was on a family vacation, and my dad ended up telling me, because I was a huge Steve McNair fan back in the 90s. Steve McNair, Charlie Ward, those were my quarterbacks in the 90s in college. And my dad told me, he said, yeah, son, he's like, I'm sorry to tell you, but Steve McNair had been killed. I'm like, what? What? So nightfall, I'm gonna say, man, I'm hoping that ain't the thing. I'm being real. I hope nothing like that happens, anything like that. Go ahead, Precious.
Remember, old boy, the linebacker for the Chiefs, what he did when he found out that that kid wasn't his.
I forgot about it. What happened with that? He did. Oh,
You don't remember that? I think his last name was Belcher or something like that.
it's so many stories. I can't remember to be exactly.
You remember he gunned her down, and he went to he went to the stadium and blew his brains out in the parking lot.
No, damn, I forgot about that. Yeesh.
Yeah, I remember that story. Yeah, I remember that story. Yeah, that was another horrible story. Man.
Well, hopefully, guys, let me just put it right here. Hopefully, none of this kind of stuff. I'm not wishing this on anybody. So hopefully none of this type of stuff happen. If they can't work it out, or God forbid, they split up down the road, then hey, do what millions and billions of other people on planet Earth do. Walk away and start your a life someplace else.
Hey, y'all, now, here's the thing that I want to say y'all missing right quick here. Dr. Umar actually spoke on this issue to the Travis Hunter situation. And you know what he called?
Yeah, I tweeted it out too. He called him a snow bunny.
Yeah, you did. Sure did. This is what he called a snow bunny crisis. Travis Hunter is going through a snow bunny crisis. But now, I'm not sure what Dr. Umar is looking at, because this woman is not a snow bunny. Now, I would call her a brown bunny, but she's not a snow bunny. She's a Latina. So my thing on it is he wanted to make it be that she was a brown bunny crisis. I can see that. But yeah, Dr. Umar spoke on this issue here too, talking about Travis Hunter going through a snow bunny crisis. And but really, what this is a Latino woman. She seems to have a feisty attitude, and quite frankly, he needs to put her somewhere where she can be deported. That's all I gotta say on it. If he gets married to her, I'm afraid, like Nightfall said, he could end up dead behind this woman here. She just seems like the type, man. She don't seem to really care about him. I'm just gonna keep it real. The brother just need to pull away from this woman. And there's other women out there. He's a smart, intelligent young man. It ain't like he can't, have another woman of more of a decent type of woman. I just don't think that's much.
He game goofy. He's smart, but he game goofy. It's bad.
Hell yeah, no doubt. He is simple. He is simple with his goddamn brown bunny. He's simple with her. And see, that's why he got all up on social media trying to take up for her. And almost like he crying over it and stuff. He's sipping over this brown bunny. But what we want to do is see her deported. I don't give a shit. Excuse my friend. She can be deported with the rest of these folks come when Trump come into office. Just put her out there so she can be deported out of here. We don't want it anyway. And there's plenty of women. Look, Travis, man, let me tell you something, brother. There's plenty of beautiful black sisters that will love you, man. That you want to marry you one of these women that are down for you for real, okay? And not this brown bunny who's going to end up taking you, man. She's going to take you. And then going to take something else from you. But anyway.
Hey, number 16. Track listing number 16 on the legendary hip-hop album, The Crime. I'm mute up.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, y'all go get that album. If you don't know about that album, go get that.
I'm going to get the Ray, and then I'm going to get the Twizzle. Ray, go ahead, and then I'm going to get the Twizzle.
No, I just wanted to say, hey, man, I was just down in Destin myself not too long ago, man. So I know exactly where he was at, man. I took my wife and the family down to the Big Kahuna. You ever been there?
Yeah, my kids, they went with their mom and a couple friends, but whenever we went, it was never open. But you was on that main strip. What's the main strip?
Oh, I don't know. I would use my GPS to get down there, so I don't remember. But I just wanted to just throw that little tidbit in there. But about Travis Hunter, something else that I don't know if it was mentioned, but golly, you mentioned it earlier about God dang it. It was another red flag I was just gonna mention. I'm about to just come back when I remember it. But I remember there was let me see. I gotta talk to y'all about real quick something Tariq Nasheed said, right? he talked about he did this broadcast that I think everyone should listen to concerning relationship. It's called The 7 Levels of Disrespect. So the first one was combativeness. Whenever you say something, she says the opposite. Like, hey, do you want to go to the, do you want to do this? And they always got something to say. The slick ass comments was the second one. Blatant insults. People saying, women saying you're effing stupid, blah, blah, blah. Public embarrassment. That's what it was. She said, he wasn't even my type. That's what I was trying to say earlier. She said live, Travis wasn't even my type. Now, I don't know if y'all heard this, but she actually said, and I left him in my DMs for 2 straight months, and the only reason I ended up going out with him was because she had some place that she needed to go, and she needed someone to go with. So she took him, and then they saw the text, and then she was like, yeah, we've been in love ever since. It was kind of a sad story. I mean, honestly, I think it's his first piece of, I'll say vagina, for the space sake. I think this is his first piece of vagina, and I think he's kind of heads over heels with her. But to get back to what I was saying, blatant insults. The next thing is public embarrassment. Because it said when women get comfortable enough, when insulting you at home, then it starts in public. And then after they do it in public, they'll slander you behind your back, talking disrespectful to you, to their friends and families. And then infidelity. And then last one is, obviously physical assault, or you possibly get set up to be killed. So I need that brother. If he listens to this space, which I know he's probably not, he needs to go listen to that broadcast because it seems like he's about to be set up for an okie doke.
Thank you, Ray. Thank you. We go ahead and get to Twizzler, and guys, we're gonna touch up on that the Umar thing too, because I want to hear what everybody got to say about this. Go ahead, Twizzler.
Hey, what's up, gentlemen? What's up, Newstoter? What's up, Professor?
What's up now?
What's up?
Hey, Ray, what you said, man, I 100% agree with, and you are correct with. And I'm not too familiar with this Travis Hunter and his girlfriend thing. I'm catching up on it as I go along. And for what I heard Ray just say, that's an embarrassment. For a woman to say that she wasn't attracted to you, she didn't want to mess with you, and the only reason why she messed with you because she needed something from you, basically using you. She just told the whole world what she's doing. She's using him. You know what I'm saying? And one thing about him, he's a young man that's experiencing power. And they always say power is the most. And once they start getting that money, that celebrity, and that fame, their heads get so big you can't tell them nothing. And I hate to say this, but this goes with a lot of young people. I was even a victim of this. You know what I'm saying? This is what my dad always told me. Anytime somebody don't want to listen, you got to let them go. Let the streets whoop they, And with him, I could just say, I'm just going to chalk it up as he's a young man. His first love. And he doesn't know. And this happens to a lot of them young brothers that go out to them schools way out there in them white lands like Washington, Iowa, way up there in the Midwest, Oregon, Montana. That's what they're going to get. Now, we see them brothers that go to the HBCUs, they don't have that issue because they're surrounded by nothing but sisters. But when they out there in the white man's land to where it's nothing but snow bunnies bouncing around and they got to wear snow boots, that's the only choice they got to play with. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to acknowledge it or condone it. I can just say I understand it because there's no women up there, so we can't expect the young dudes to go without. Now yet we can tell them, in the words of Dr. John Henry Clark, if you're going there to have fun, to have your fun, just don't bring one home. And this is where he's messing up at. He's bringing one home. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, he doesn't have anybody there to, coach him. He got everybody there that's going to ride his coattail. They showed his daddy celebrating everything, but you mean to tell me his daddy can't holler at him like, man, check this out. You off cold, So it just goes to show, not only that, Dion like playing in the snow too. When he first came out, he had snows, he had tortillas, he had all kind of variety. He even had he had to carry chopsticks sometimes for the variety he had to So I can't say I haven't been there. I'm not no major athlete. I haven't been there, but I've been around the fame. I've been around celebrities and I've been around power. And I see that they go to them bunnies and them Beckys because they are around them people of power. So they feel like once they get one, they feel like they made it. Me personally, I'm only attracted to black women because I love black women anatomy, I love black women attitudes, and I love black women rhythm. And there's no other woman that can compare, compete, or even step to that. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to put my 2 cents in, and I just hope the young brother can come out of this without no rape allegation or no divorce allegation or no type of Me Too. I hope he can come out of it like that, because they finna try to tax him. He's finna be the #1 draft pick, and they finna try to get his pockets. And little senorita, little mamacita, she's gonna be doing her best to do a little Mexican Mariata hat dance to act right. She's gonna be blowing that whistle. She's gonna be bending over, touching them toes. She's gonna be doing everything just to make him happy till he signed that contract. And she's gonna try her best to either get a baby, but you know what they say about the Hispanic women, they get pregnant just by touching them. You know what I'm saying? And she gonna try to get his money. And I already see it, because she already said she just used them for a ride to get to where she needed to go. So hey, I land my plane there, y'all. Shout out to the room.
Real talk. Let me add this part real quick that you said, Twizzle. Travis Hunter, Deion Sanders, when he coached at Jackson State, he ended up getting Travis Hunter to come to Jackson State over Florida State, which was a major battle that you had never seen an HBCU win over perennial power. The day of National Signing Day, he had been committed to Florida State for over a year, and at the last minute, Travis Hunter, he gave Florida State the middle finger and went to a HBCU, Jackson State, with Deion Sanders. So he was at a school where you had nothing but black women, predominantly black women. Now, I believe he was saying that he's been going with this girl 5 years, which would mean that they were dating when he was in high school. Now, just my personal belief, I don't believe this is the first non-black woman that he's had in his lifetime. Even if you go back to high school, I'm sure that he's probably had a thing for non-black women, be it white, be it Latino, Asian, or whatever. So I don't think this is his first one right here. So, and you're right. I think it won't be long before she go ahead and she have a baby, because you go ahead and you have that baby, that's more money, that's more that's more dollars coming your way as well too. So you get married, like Nightfall said, you're in the right state, you mess around, you have a child, and then she does decide to leave or whatever. And then she's already got everything set up for her pretty much as well too. So I don't think he's been around black women.
She go leave just so she secure that bag and get that baby. That's a for sure income, that child support. So she's out of here like she out of here like it's Cinco de Mayo, bro.
No, I mean I don't doubt what you're saying. I'm just saying that baby though, that baby is a major factor. She got to drop, and don't be surprised if she don't drop maybe 2 babies just to go ahead and solidify everything as well too. So you be married for a couple of years, you drop a couple of little kids and stuff like that. That bag will go up significantly. So she's already playing a part as well too on that. And I hope everything works out for them. I like to see him. He seems to be a pretty, I don't know him personally, but he seems to be a pretty decent young man and stuff like that. So I hope everything he's starting his life off, and I'm hoping that he's successful. I rooted for him. I wanted to see him win the Heisman, even though he didn't go to my school, Florida State. I still wanted him to see him do well and Deion do well and everything else she's doing, all of them. So I'm hoping that he has a great career as well too. But you're right though, that money, that money talks. So we gonna see.
Shout out to Florida State, Charlie Ward.
Yo, okay, that's a legend there.
The Ward Dunn athlete, man, that was the squad right there.
What you talking about? I grew up on that, so yeah, I grew up on that. Go ahead.
Real quick.
Go ahead.
Professor brought up the fact that she was a Latino, and I didn't actually know that from this whole story that we've heard so far. But now that I know, Travis could be in some serious, serious trouble, because we can look upon Latinos as brown all we want to. But if there's one thing that we have all learned in these spaces since 2018, them Latinos consider themselves white. And she's a quote unquote white woman getting with a black man. Let something go wrong. He will find out, like Jonathan
And in Colorado.
Oh man, where Kobe done screwed it up for every black man that will ever come through there again. Yeah, good luck with that.
Hey, we forgot about the Kobe situation back in what that was at 03, 04 as well too. So yeah. Let me go ahead and get to
Kobe didn't do anything wrong though, y'all. He just put the pipe to her. That's all. He didn't do anything wrong.
I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna drop down. If you ever go to them all-white states and them all-white cities, you're gonna get harassed at the airport. And I'm going to say this, in 2018, I flew to Portland, Oregon to buy a truck. Just as soon as I got off the plane, dude, just as soon as I exited the plane, TSA was right there to grab me, bro, talking about what am I doing here? And I'm tripping like, hold on, who are you? And they whipped out their little badges talking about, what are you doing here? You know, and I'm like, I noticed I was the only black man on the plane other than a few red dots. You know what I'm saying? They hemmed me up for 30 minutes asking me why was I in Portland. They told them about they've been having a lot of black people come out there robbing people from weed, so they want to see why I'm out there. And I'm like, how am I robbing people when I got clogs on? You know what I mean? I'm out here to buy a car. I had to sit up there and go through a whole interview for a whole hour when I got off the plane in Portland. And Portland is 90% white. And I hear a lot of black people go through this when they're exiting the plane, not going to a TSA. It's when you get off the plane and you go to the white cities. They do this. So, yeah, I just wanted to put that out there, Newstoter.
Appreciate that.
Oh, that's facts.
Appreciate
That's
that.
facts. That has always been Oregon's deal, man. And your crime wasn't stepping off the plane. Your crime was stepping off the plane being black.
No, my crime was coming to Portland. No, my crime was coming to Portland. That was my crime.
Right. And being black. You could have been Arab. You could have been Indian. You could have been West Indian. You could have been anything. But you stepped off black. So, yeah.
Yeah, real talk, both of you guys. I want to get to I'm gonna get the FBA is the Messiah, and I'm gonna get to my girl Trouble too. Real quick before I get to him, though, I want to go ahead and mention the thing with Dr. Umar. There's a video, it's like 2 minutes and something. I'm gonna see if we can play it later on. But Dr. Umar basically was saying that he was on a Joe Budden podcast, and he was saying that that we should not have the same content for Africans who participate in the slave trade the same way we have for the Europeans, because basically, and I'm paraphrasing, the Europeans, the Portuguese in particular, they started and everything else, and that, you know, they were the masterminds behind it. They made the biggest bulk of money. The African kingdoms who participated in them, they went ahead and they end up losing a lot of their wealth because they end up being colonized and enslaved on their own land. So Dr. Umar was saying that, hey, you know, to this day in Brazil and Angola and certain other countries, the Portuguese are still making money. They're still reaping the benefits because of the transatlantic slave trade. So we should have it. Yeah, he's saying that we should have we should not have the same content and the same dislike for the Africans that we have for the Europeans, because their impact, their economic impact was minimal in terms of what they actually received from the actual transatlantic slave trade. So I just want to put that out there real quick. So
basically what he's saying is, hey, Newstoter, Professor Black, you know, me and other fruit brothers, we got a crew in here. You know, and one of the dudes in the crew snitch on us, and the police come bust everybody. He telling us not to get mad at the snitch.
Basically. But let me get to the hands real quick, because FBA. Yeah, I'm gonna get to you, FBA Messiah, Trouble, and Sassy waiting. So let me go ahead before I get to them real quick, guys. For those that can support us on Cash App, $Newstoter, $Newstoter. Newstoter is the largest Black-owned, Black American news media curation platform today in America. Once again, $Newstoter, $Newstoter. For those that do not have Cash App, the PayPal and Venmo is up in the Jumbotron. Same for my people on YouTube, $Newstoter, $Newstoter. And the PayPal and Venmo is up in the description. Let me go ahead and get to FBA. It's a Messiah, and then I got you, Trouble, and I got you, Sassy. FBA is the Messiah. You there? I don't know if they may be in the Matrix. Let me see.
No, I'm here, brother. I'm here. I was going to the Cash App looking at what you was doing. I was on my phone.
How you doing tonight? What's going on?
All right, peace to the room, peace to the room. I'm just like saying peace to the room. I see your posts. I watch you in the background. I'm not saying much. I see all your posts and everything that's going on. That's why I'm on stage right now. And you're talking about something that's very significant. As an FBA brother and, you know, other FBA families, we might deal with the same thing. And I'm going to give my testimony, right? I have a son, and he already know, like, how I feel when it comes down to raw chicken. That's why I say raw chicken. I like my meat well done, not raw. You know what I'm saying? And then I give that test. I'm giving this testimony just to be show you how genuine on my conversation that I'm talking about. Since he was 14 years old, he grew up, and our community was white, black, everything that's going on. They seem to pick off our greatest and our best. You know what I mean? I'm a father of 4. My youngest, like, he's like the Einstein at everything, but he choose to go with raw chicken. I don't, we on a social platform. I say raw chicken. Everybody that know what I'm talking about, what I'm talking about. And he knew my sentiments towards them. And he chose what he chose. But his mother told me, like, yo, listen, if you go against him and you feel how you feel, you're going to lose him forever. So I had to play along just to go along. I play along to go along. But when I played along to go along, I'm actually teaching him and coaching him, just like Deion Sanders, the way he's doing with these kids. And the sad part, I say this, the sad part is with that brother, with the Mexican sister doing what she doing. And I'm watching videos, I'm seeing what's going on, being objective on the situation. And I'm wondering if his father wasn't in his life, his mom's there, but she's running everything because, most athletes, their moms, and even if the dad is there, it's like, whatever. And that's how white society makes, like, the father's irrelevant. And even when the father is around, they try to, like, cut him out of the deal and put the moms there because it's more like, we easily to influence the mother than anything because she's thinking cash. But as a mother, her son getting a Heisman Trophy, and he's meeting some random chick online that says she really wasn't feeling him like that. You know what I'm saying? If the game is not coming from your mother, it's coming from your father. And the moms knowing what's going on to allow him to be played out. And, we in the background, we spectators looking at what's going on with him. His mama should be the first one saying something because, we all know we closer to our mom. I love my dad, but I love my mama. My mama got a heart, or she got my heart in a way that no woman can have. So my thing is, if his mama is not saying, yo, look, son, like, yo, cut her off, like, she's a gold digger, she ain't doing him right. But to move forward, say, when I look at the situation, my son, he listened to me more than his mom's. And my son chose not to go to Harvard because he wanted to be with raw chicken. I'm going to say it like that, raw chicken. He chose to be with raw chicken, not well done. He ran across people that was well done and look at his brilliance, how brilliant he was, and when it comes down to finances and stuff like that. But he passed it over to mess with raw chicken. He chose to go to Southern University. Anyone who want to do the research, Google it up, whatever case, go to Southern University. And this little boy's my heart. Like, when it comes down to finances, knowing what he know and doing what he do, and everything I tell him, he do it. And, like, I give him the blueprint, and it comes out to be what it need to be. Well, he wanted to go to Florida State, second choice. He didn't go to Florida State University just because raw chicken couldn't get in there. He chose to go to Southern University. Now, me and his moms is not together. We co-parent. But at the end of the day, we kind of like know what's going on. We're going along just to get along, just because we don't want him to be heavily influenced by a female like that, which she have too much power and control on. Him saying like, nah, I want to go to Boston University. No, I want to go to Florida. And this was his options
and this world chicken didn't have the option, but he chose to go to Southern State. Like, that's crazy. So seeing that on the play, talking about what we talked about was going in the room. And I say this to all FBA people, fathers and mothers and stuff like that. Please, our children is the future. Please, we have to pay attention to our children. Like, you gotta put that energy into them. So when we see what we see that's going on in social media, somebody become the Heisman trophy, become famous, and they're winning what they're winning, you know what I'm saying? They won't let pussy influence them like that, because at the end of the day, like, yeah, as men, we get influenced by women, think what I think. Excuse my language.
Yeah. Try to watch the language a little bit, but go ahead. I'm gonna have you land it too, because we got some other hands up.
I'm gonna land right after that. We think with our penis and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, as parents, we need to be more into our kids, because we don't know the greatness that they have. And when we see situations that we see right now, that come from bad parenting and not schooling and coaching them. Because you and I know, most of the people on the stage know, we're being coached by somebody, whether it's from our uncle, our mother, our father, or whatever the case might be. And when it comes to great success in doing what he's doing, he shouldn't have to be in the spotlight the way he is. And I'll land my plane there. Thank you, brother.
All right, appreciate that. Let me go ahead and get to. I'm glad we got a couple sisters coming up next. So let me go ahead and get to my girl Trouble, and I got Sassy, and I got you, Mr. Al as well too. Miss Trouble, how you doing tonight?
Hey, Newstoter, how you doing?
Hey, what's up now?
Nothing like a villain just getting in the house good. You already know. DJ up in the cut, Professor Freaky DE in the house, Twizzler.
What's up, baby? How you doing?
Right with me now, Professor.
Nightfall over in the cut. What?
Nightfall going between YouTube and he's on Twitter tonight. So shout out to Nightfall.
Okay, because he normally just be on the YouTube, but it's nice to hear the brother's voice. So that's what's up. I don't have a whole lot to say on here. I just I've seen a lot of people talking about this. I haven't really taken the time to watch the videos. I did watch one video the other day. Yesterday, I think, where the girl was sitting down in a chair, and I think he was taking pictures, and she was getting a little agitated because she wanted to know how long she was going to sit there. And the first thing that came to my mind was, you should have stayed at home, but you want to be up in the mix, so you sit there for however long it takes for home to take his pictures. But I'm not really invested in this because I think the media is focusing too much on this young man as far as his relationship is concerned. I'd rather focus on his accolades, what he's doing for himself. At the end of the day, if he like it, I love it, because he could not mess with this chick here, get with another female that everybody is telling him is more better for him than this girl here, and that'll be the one that'll run this brother down. So I've learned to kind of stay out of people's relationships in that way, because if I tell you, this girl right here, she looks like a gold digger, leave that alone. The next girl you get with, she might look like the girl next door, or publicly have the public persona that says to the public, I am this particular type of woman. I have my head on straight, and at home, you a goddamn nightmare. So I'll stay out that boy's relationship. I wish the media and everybody else would leave him alone too, because the truth of the matter is, when you look at this young man, he looked like he come from the country. Wasn't no whole lot of girls checking for his behind when he was in school, because he wasn't that cute. He hadn't had no cat since the cat had him, and wait till he got that girl and she put that putty on him.
Nah, Trouble. He was a big time athlete all the time, so the girl, he gonna find a couple girls now.
But she stayed with him when wasn't nobody trying to check for him. She might have blew in his booty hole or something. She got his head on lock. So, he like it. I love it. And I think it's a lot of pressure. I think the people around him is telling him to do the right thing. But real talk, when you in a relationship, whether it's a good one or a bad one, nobody can really tell you. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta fall and you gotta make mistakes in life. This young man's gonna have to make mistakes in life. As far as his mother, being in his life and being the one to advise him. As a mother of 4 young men, one who is in a 6-month relationship and he acting like he done been in it for 6 years, and you know, the youngest one who, you know, loves women, period, you know, but a mother of 4 boys. My kids, I talk to my boys all the time, but I'm starting to see now that when it comes to the relationships that they choose with the females, some are going to listen to you, some are not. One of my sons, there's certain things that he tells me, Mom, and there's certain things that he tells Dad. He doesn't tell Mom everything. He's going to tell Mom, yeah, Mom, I'm still the big V. Whereas he's having a conversation with Dad, yeah, Dad, I don't went to this space right here. Like, that ain't what he told me. You know, so kids are going to only take their parents' advice as far as they want to, because they're going to do what they want to do. And when you ain't had no snatch, you ain't had no good snatch, you got somebody sitting there with you snatching it. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be a little goofy. You look like you're going to be a little goofy because, like I said, you look like one of them little country boys that hadn't had none. You know, hadn't had the cat since the cat had him. So, you know, give him a little bit of time, and hopefully he'll start to see things for himself. Some people got to make their own mistakes. You can't just be telling them it right now with all of the media pressure and everybody in the internet talking about it. It's only going to make him do the opposite of what everybody thinks he's going to do. Straight up, period. Everybody saying she not right for me. Well, he got to prove y'all wrong now. He's not going to see her the way that y'all see her. Because like he said, they've been through things that don't nobody else know. So I'm going to land right there until you come back and start talking about Umar.
Oh, I started talking about him, so you can, if you want to touch up on it, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm tired of people trying to make us feel some ways about, you know, not coming down on Africans. Like, why are Africans all of a sudden the ones who can't be spoke on, the ones who got to get protected, and we shouldn't speak on, and we shouldn't make them feel bad for A, B, and C? If your clan or your region of Africa and Africans weren't the ones who participated in the slave trade, and you shouldn't feel no ways when we talk about it. But the bottom line is, we're not going to skip over reality to make some mugs feel good. We're not getting ready to do that. It is odd to me to make the victims of what happened the ones responsible for not making this other group who was responsible feel as if they was responsible and what the hell they was responsible for. So, I mean, I don't know where people keep getting off trying to make it seem like these are some teenagers that we got to handle with kid gloves, and don't blame them for the TAST. You're some of y'all tribes, some of y'all people, some of y'all ancestors, some of y'all, you know, was involved in it. So you're going to get that work. You're going to get told. You're going to get the reality. We're not going to hide the truth. We're going to live in the truth and then correct it. You cannot correct past mistakes if you're not even willing to acknowledge it. And why do we have so many Black Americans who keep trying to, you know, put the Africans above us? Why? Because you all still have these fantasies in your mind about being welcomed back into the motherland, home of the Blacks, lands of the Blacks. And they're going to see me as, you know, King Umar of the Blacks. And like, go on with that food, man. Go on with that food. So, I need to go back and re-listen to some of the video, but you know, Umar, I love some of the things that Umar say, but sometimes, you know, I just want to put a muzzle on a brother, and I'll land right there.
Thank you, Trouble. The thing that confused me what Umar was saying, I mean, you're sitting up here, let's not act like, you know, there wasn't a bunch of African tribes that, I mean, that got really, really wealthy off of that, the actual transatlantic slave trade. Now, if they came back later on and they got enslaved, and, you know, even though they you know, they participated in it, oh well, but I just don't understand his point of view saying, well, you know what, you know, have content for these people and this because they established colonies in the New World and basically the Africans didn't. You know, hey, they participated in it and they kind of get a pass from it to a certain degree because everybody says, now this is the crazy thing I'm having here too. Now we have some African nations saying, hey, you know, that they're entitled to reparations because of colonization and everything else and this and that, and they'll say a little apology for their part in the actual transatlantic slave trade, but it never heard them say, you know what, we need to go ahead and fix what we actually started as well too. I understand that Umar's supposed to be the prince of pan-Africanism and everything else as well too. But there's nothing wrong with saying, what, African nations that participate, or the African tribes that participated, the kingdoms or whatever, they should they should bear some responsibility as well too, to sit up here and say that you shouldn't have the same kind of contempt for them because basically because the other people that did it were white. That's basically what he's saying. And he can sit up here and say, well, they had the wealth and this and that. Basically what you're saying in so many words that you shouldn't have the same resentment for them because they were black, and the other people you should have resentment for the white people. And you could talk about all of the wealth that they built in Brazil and this and that or whatever. Nonetheless, like I say, there are plenty of African tribes and kingdoms that got, really wealthy and rich off of the actual transatlantic slave trade. So, there's no issue with them actually taking some responsibility as well, too. Let me go ahead and go ahead, Trouble. Go ahead.
Responsibility for it because they was a part of it. We're not going to be mad at one group and not mad at them. I don't care what type of trinkets they got. If they didn't get nothing but dust, they made the deal, and that is the problem right there. Is their African leaders keep making deals with these crackers, and then when these crackers come up and tear their heads off, then they want to make excuses. Well, it was the white people that came in and colonized. Well, your leaders allowed them to by the deals that they were making with them. And you got trinkets, oh well. You didn't get rich off the slave trade, oh well. The problem is, y'all are still getting paid to this day because y'all are still doing little like they have the slave plantations here, and the people take people over and you let them see the slave plantations and they play this little role or whatever. Those people are getting paid here. They're getting paid over in Africa with this little back to Africa stuff they do every year and go and visit the place where, what's it called? The place of no return, where the slaves went to the port over in Africa and this is where they left out at. And it's an emotional thing. Don't come over here, Black Americans. And y'all are still getting paid for that, and you get paid off it from the dumb people in our clan who decide to go over there. Because they want to see where the slaves had left off at, but they paying in order to see where their people was snatched at from, where your people was kidnapped from, if them was their people. But at the same time, people keep trying to twist it because they keep trying to make Black Americans Africans so bad. Oh, well, those were your people. You shouldn't feel no ways. Yeah, I feel some ways because we all know that different tribes in Africa didn't consider other tribes in Africa their people. The people that they sold was not their people. It was a different type of tribe, a different type of people. So you're not going to continue to make us feel no ways about it when these Africans are still to this day getting paid from transatlantic slaves, and they're trying to implement themselves in our reparations claims right now. So how are you the victim? And that's how I feel about it. I feel like people keep trying to make the Africans and the African nation the victim. You all are not the victims. You are participants. Anybody hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Who just spoke?
That was me, Mr. Al.
Hey, Mr. Al, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. Give me 1 second, because hold on. Hold on 1 second, Mr. Al, because somebody was speaking when you just came in.
Okay, sorry about that.
Sorry, I'm done. I just had that. I'm done.
Okay, Trouble say she's done. So let me, Mr. Al, wait 1 second, because I got Sassy next, and then I got you. Sassy.
Yes. Good evening. Hello to everyone. Grace and peace for this season that is upon us. Yeah, it's a lot to the African and the transatlantic slave trade. So, but once we are now on American soil, and so when we got over here, our attachment to Africa really vanished. And then the American government, the United States government, took over slave trade as us here. It was here, where our people were actually sold on the chopping block. A lot happened, to Black Americans here in America. So one reason is our reparations claim is with the American government for the theft of labor. 246 years of free pay that our ancestors, did. theft of labor. There's several reparations claims actually going on now. Gerald Sanders, and then there's some more coming, but it's with the American government. If Africa, if they want any part of it, they need to file their own separate claim, because you do have to trace your lineage back to an enslaved individual in your family or in your life, at least to 1865. So that's where we're at. But then the other one, unjust enrichment, that's another type of claim. So that's what I want to say about the slave trade. As far as I'm concerned, Umar Johnson, he's very educated and all of that, and he knows that he's not even going to get reparations from America because he's Cuban. So that's why he could be saying a lot of things. He knows he's not going to be a part unless he sneaks in, because there's going to be a lot of people sneaking in our claims, and so, but that's why we have these different restrictions with our reparations claim as far as the slave trade. Africans, they need to file their own claim, and it's with the American government. Travis and his little hot tamale, they're both young, and Travis is going to learn. I was very sad because Travis' father was not at the Heisman Trophy win. And I kind of felt like Travis, if his father couldn't afford it, he had the money to bring his father in. Because I did see his father.
His dad said he didn't want to go to it. He said he's going to go to the wedding and to the NFL draft.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, yeah. But at least he acknowledged his dad. And Travis was right on board with how he was dressed. I usually look at the NFL drafts and the basketball drafts to see how the young men are dressed. And they are in bright colors like that. And the mother's always present. And sometimes the dad, yeah. So it was a good thing that he acknowledged his dad. I thought that was very good. So, little hot tamale, he's just going to have to learn. You certainly can't tell him nothing, nose wide open. But, I wish him the best. He was good. And, that's it. And I'll land.
All right. Thank you, Sassy. His dad said that he was going to come to the NFL draft and his and the wedding. So I guess the dad didn't want to actually take part in the actual ceremony. Didn't want to be there. He watched it on TV. So, like I said, he's already bought a house for his mother in college. So I'm sure he'll try to look out for the father as well too. So shout out to the family. Let me go ahead and get to Ray, and then I'm gonna get to Big Bird.
Are you talking to me?
I'm sorry, Mr. I'm sorry, Mr. Al. Go ahead, Mr. Al. I'm sorry, I forgot about you. My bad.
Yeah. I just want to make this real short before I go back to work. It's really good that social media now.
Hey, Mr. Al, are you on a headset? Because we can barely hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
About the same, but go ahead.
Yeah, it's a good thing that we're looking out for Travis Hunter ever since that incident happened.
Hey, Mr. Al, I can't hear you, Mr. Al. Like you kind of fading. If you got a headset on, take it off real quick.
I'm actually on the ground. Can you hear me?
Yeah, but you keep going low. But go ahead.
Yeah, I'm glad that we're looking out after Travis Hunter. Surviving African black Africans down situation like this. Relationship. So I'm hoping that Travis Hunter. Also, one other thing too, before I get on that. Hopefully, Michael Vick chose you to go to more state. Gives more black football coaches coach that for the black college. So that's all I want to say. Thank you.
All right. If anybody has a headset on, guys, please take it off because it is very hard to hear you if you got a headset on. So if you got one on, please go ahead and take it off. Go ahead, Ray, and then Big Bird, we're gonna get to you.
Hey, News, I'm busy. I'll just go last. chance, bro. Let the other people cook.
All right, Big Berg, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, what's up, man? How everybody doing in the room? What's going on? This is yeah, I heard too much about. I heard that with Travis Hunter. You know what I'm saying, with his girlfriend. They really too much to say. You can't really make another man give up on the female. She's gonna do what a lot of men out here is not gonna do for her. Unless you swing that way, but that's your personal business. But you're gonna have to let that dude learn. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to learn through life on that situation. But on the Dr. Umar, to the point, he's a pan-Africanist. He's going to always give a cover to the continent. And any involvement with that government, with the past, what they were involved in the slave trade, he's going to give almost a lack of accountability. And most of Pan-Africans tend to do that way. They don't really point out and they don't really criticize Africa as a whole, or even individuals that come from Africa. They kind of just give the criticism really back to us, almost like a shaming tactic. So, shout out to Joe Budden for even the dude even asked to kind of bring that topic up. Because, like I said, for him to say it, I'm not shocked or even surprised, maybe disappointed that he's basically trying to give a lot of excuses that Africa is not involved or they forced into, even though there's many accounts that, they profit major to it. Even when they try to see if they can stop it, they a lot of those kingdoms, the economy drastically fell. Like I said, so Dr. Umar and many Pan-Africanists with their ideology, they're always going to give major covers of the continent. On anything that do happen in the continent, within the continent, they're always going to perceivably give a cover. So, it's almost like it's really up to us if we want to cut him off. We're kind of like his dad. Africa is not supporting Dr. Umar because it's Black Americans that support him. So it depends on what we do. If we're going to cut the bag off or not, no way.
All right. Thank you. Dr. Umar, like I say, I could agree with, there's things Dr. Umar says I have no problem with. I agree with 100%. I don't disagree with about the transatlantic slave trade and who masterminded and who was the biggest beneficiary of it. Nonetheless, you still had a number of kingdoms and tribes that participated over there in Africa. And to sit up here and says, don't have a issue with them because they didn't make the kind of money, they didn't make the fist over dollars that another group made or something like that. I really don't have an issue with that. You could be a Pan-African and say, for the tribes who participated, the kingdoms participated, they need to they need to bear some responsibility for this as well too. But it's like you can't say that. So I think that's an issue that some people may have with Pan-Africanism. Like, hey man, like you can support that ideology and still say, for our people that took part in it or whatever, we need to go ahead and we need to take responsibility for that. So I don't know what Umar was saying. He's talking about the Portuguese and he's talking about their control over Brazil and this and that and people speaking Spanish throughout the world. And yeah, that's all fine and good and everything else like that as well too. And it's also is like a lot of Pan-Africans, they don't think that Africa should pay any kind of restitution or reparations, anything like that. Now they're fine with Africa getting money from European nations and the Arabs and whoever else, but they can sit up and say, well, what we did, this was a blight in the eye of our continent, and we're sorry and this and that or whatever. But as soon as you start saying, well, you know what, you ain't got to go ahead and pay no extra dollars. Let us get 1,000 acres. Oh, we can't do that. You can rent this out for 99 years and all kind of ridiculous stuff like that. And one stroke, you want to say, you know what, we're your cousins, we're family, we're related, we're this, we're that, or whatever. Then at the same time, you want to sit up here and say, well, you know, when it's time for you to do some resources for the people that you say are actually still African, quote unquote, then it's like, hey, you know what? Well, we can't afford this. We can't do this. We can't do that. When everybody in the world is coming over there getting damn real estate. I don't give a damn who it is. Middle Easterners, the Arabs, the whites, the East Indians, the Chinese, you name it, everybody's coming over there getting it. But then when you want to sit up here and say, you know what, the people in the Western Hemisphere that you guys helped to go ahead and sell them off, whether they were prisoners of wars or whatever it was, you know, we understand, like Trouble said, we understand that you weren't selling your own tribesmen, your own kingdom, your own people in your own kingdom. But nonetheless, you still want to say, well, you know what, even though you guys weren't, quote unquote, in our kingdom or our tribes or whatever, you're still part of our overall family. Let us go ahead and make this thing right. You won't do that. You don't do that. So I don't know, like I say, they don't, you know, it's like everybody should pay for, all of the colonial power should pay for reparations except Africa. And we understand the condition that Africa's in financially. Like, hey, you know, you guys wouldn't be able to come up financially and put the kind of money into effect like Europe and America and every place else like that as well too. But you have more than enough land, you have more than enough resources to go ahead and do that. But you don't want to do that. But then you do want to go ahead and then you do want to get reparations for colonization. I see the actual movement, you know, catching steam over there in Africa. You deserve to be paid and compensated for all of this stuff that went along during colonial times and everything else as well too. But then you don't want to go ahead and you don't want to make things right with the people over here in America and the Caribbean and South America and all other places as well too, that you went ahead and you helped to go ahead and so, and let's be perfectly honest, you had some kingdoms in Africa that did not want to end the slave trade because they were making a lot of money. I can't remember which African ruler it was, wrote to one of the I don't know, was one of the monarchs over there in Europe or the Pope or whoever he wrote to, saying, hey, you know what, this was ordained by God and it's not right to end this, and all kind of ridiculous stuff. You know, so don't sit up here and say that, hey, you know what, while people are trying to actually end it, you got people over there sitting over there trying to go ahead and keep it going, keep it rolling, because they're making money. The little bit of arms and stuff, the little bit of raggedy rifles they were getting from Europeans was enough to go ahead and give them advantage over, you know, people who didn't have the actual arms and stuff that they had at that time as well too. So I mean, you know, no, man, I mean, and as somebody that's supposed to be a leader in the Pan-African, I don't know why Umar just wants to say, you know what, the entire continent was not responsible for what happened, but for those that were, they are responsible as well too. Because if it was Arabs, if it was East Indians, if it was anybody else, he wouldn't have a problem saying, you know what, this is what you did, this how this affected and everything else too. They played a part to it, and they played a big part in it. Let's not just act like it was just a bunch of white people that rode over there in boats and pulled up on the shores and just started shaking trees and throwing nets over niggas and just dragging them across the sands on the beach and throwing them up into the actual ships. No, they had chiefs over there that agreed to it. They went ahead and they helped commit raids on enemies and stuff like that as well too. So they helped to supply them with fresh human beings as well too. So let me go ahead and get to my girl Trouble.
Tony, you just took every last one of my talking points. I ain't even really got no whole lot to say. Just pretty much sum that up in a nutshell. You know what I'm saying? Like everything you just said was what I was about to say. Like you participated at some point in time. You participated, and we can't help that you all have trash ass leaders over there that did what they did. And like you said, they're offering resources to every group but the Black Americans. But at the same time, you're still trying to impede upon our reparations that we've been fighting for over here. You're still trying to edge your way into that a little bit. So everything that you just said just now, 100. Africa is the richest country in this world. People keep looking at Africa and saying, well, Africa is a poor country. No, it's not. Africa is the richest country on this planet. Problem is that they got trash leaders who sell their resources to all of these other nations, and they get pennies. They get nothing. So, again, I don't understand why people like Umar keep trying to let Africa escape off of the accountability. Whereas us Black Americans, we've been here long enough and we've looked at things and observed things long enough to see that all of these other nations are proxies to these white nations and have caused harm upon our particular group of people. But we are the only group of people that everybody, including the African nation, feels that they do not owe an apology to. We are the only nation, the only group of people in this world that no one wants to apologize for, that nobody wants to make a recompense. They don't want to pay us for anything. They really don't even want to acknowledge what it is that they did to our group of people. So by proxy, Africa, you are guilty. You are guilty, and you're going to get that work. You're going to get to work like these colonizers going to get that work. Because like Tota just said, they could have offered some form of resources. You want us over there so bad? You don't want us over there that bad. But you claim you want us over there that bad? Then offer something. You're not offering anything. You're not offering anything. So you do not feel bad. You feel no ways about what you did. And I can't put the whole country under one umbrella or put them in one box. But it's amazing to me that everybody that comes from Africa, or the majority, I won't say everybody, but the majority of people that come from Africa to the United States, and I don't care what country they're from, the majority of them all have the same notion about Black Americans. Oh, you all are baby mamas. Oh, you all are body bags. Oh, you all are this, all you are that. So what are they teaching y'all over there about Black Americans? It has to have came from somewhere. There has to have been a higher thought within your regimes to make you all look at us the way that you look at us, the same way the rest of the world looks at us, the same way the white man looks at us. Like we are here to help you make money. We're here for you to make a comeuppance off of. And it's getting tiresome. I'm getting tired of people trying to throw us under the bus by trying to make us feel a group of people who would eradicate us at first opportunity, who have constantly worked with the white man hand in hand for the last 400 some odd years against us, and now you want us to feel bad for this group of people? I don't feel bad because, like Dr. John said, the only thing we owe any goddamn body is an ass whooping. We don't owe Africa anything. Africa owes us. Just like a lot of other groups in this world owes us, Africa owes us too. That's the bottom line. And we don't need to be listening to nobody who tell us anything different, because we need to start pointing enemies out. We need to start pointing people as enemies out. And I love, like I said, I love a lot of things that Umar says. If there was ever one person, I'd have him debate them crackers, on our behalf. He would be one of them. But sometimes, brother, you need to shut your mouth. You know, sometimes you need to go ahead and shut your mouth, because I think the majority of us is at the point now where we're tired of everybody getting excuses. We do not get excuses. We might give each other excuses, but the rest of the world does not give us excuses. We do not give Black Americans excuses, but everybody has an excuse for why they was allowed to harm us or why they don't owe us. So, you know, I'm going to land right there, but we don't owe nobody nothing but an ass whooping, and Africa needs to be held accountable. We have a lot of conversations about accountability. There will be no unity with none of these nations until they are held accountable. And that is the bottom line. That has to be the bottom line. We don't owe you anything. You owe us. Stop trying to make us feel like you're the victim. We're not getting ready to do that. I land.
Yes, ma'am. And Trouble was on point. And like I said, we're not sitting up here blaming the entire continent. We're not talking about every tribe that was on the continent, every kingdom that was on. We're talking about the one that specifically dealt the slaves. We're not talking about anybody outside of that. So we're not trying to say, well, you know, the entire continent should have to pay it's all their fault. No, we're sitting up saying the people that were, and you had some notorious slave dealers over there, period. And let's stop sitting up here acting like that, like, you know, people forced them into it. They came with an agreement. In certain senses, they say, hey, you know what? Help us get some slaves. And the people say, and a lot of these tribes say, you know what? I can kill two birds with one stone. They got these gifts that they're gonna give us, and we get ready to get rid of some enemies of ours as well, too. So like I say, if you're sitting up here and you're talking about unity and this and that or whatever, and if you're talking about having this overall black mindset, which Pan-African is supposed to be or whatever, you sit up there and you say, you know what, listen, nobody's perfect. We made mistakes in the past. We want to go ahead and we want to move forward, and we want to go ahead and do the right thing. We want to go ahead and offer you guys, not talking about you come over here and buy, because quote unquote, if I'm mistaken, if you're sitting there and you're saying that we're all related, we're from Africa, we're go do DNA tests and we'll find out we're from Nigeria and Ghana and all these other places and stuff like that. Then what you're saying also is that we should have ancestral homeland over there as well too. That would have been ours had we not been caught up in the actual transatlantic slave trade. So the people that you're talking about that's supposed to also be over in the Americas will also be African at the same time. You should have no issue saying, you know what, we're going to carve you guys out a nice piece, and not some swamp land either. Okay, we're going to carve you guys out some nice piece of land to go ahead and develop and this and that for free. No lease or nothing there. You don't have to pay not one dime or anything like that, because let's be for real, since medieval times, you've been giving away land over there. So I see no issue with you going ahead setting aside something for us as well too. So to me, that would be the reasonable thing. And if you're supposed to be a leader like Dr. Umar, you sit up here and you say, hey, you know what? We're family, and sometimes family has fights, and sometimes things get vicious and get nasty and takes an ugly turn. This was an ugly turn in history that we want to go ahead and correct. In order for us to correct this is what we need to do. We need to have reparative justice, not only for the white people that took us in as slaves and all these other groups that profited as well too, but also where it started off at. Because these slaves weren't bought in Antarctica, okay? They didn't go to Antarctica to buy these slaves. They didn't go to Asia to buy these slaves. They went to one place to go ahead and get these slaves. So if you want to go ahead and talk about we want to be united and we want to have this and this and that or whatever, we want to have a relationship and everything, hey, man, like you say, just going over there talking about the right to return and the Eden thing they're having over there in Kenya, that's not going to cut it. That's not going to cut it. And I don't know why Umar is taking a stance where he's so upset that somebody said, hey, you can sit up here and you can say what the Portuguese did and this and that or whatever, but the Portuguese still had help over there. Let me go ahead and get the black pressure.
Okay, News, check this out. I want to offer just a slight bit of contention to make to.
I gotta hear this. I gotta hear this. Go ahead. I gotta hear this.
It's with love, though. It's with love. Real quick before I go into my spiel, everything everybody said about the stuff with Dr. Umar, I do agree with it. I'm on everybody's side with their criticisms of what he said. I will say this, though. I couldn't look at myself in the mirror if I didn't say this. Like I said, I do agree with what everybody said about that. But I'm always the one, and you probably heard this before, when this subject matter comes up, I always have to give props. My bad, got a phone call.
Okay,
I always have to give props to the African tribes that fought those white people they resisted with violence. Yes, so there was a good bit of those kingdoms that sold us, but I always have to give props to the Africans that fought those Europeans when they came to steal our ancestors. But like I said, I'll move on. I'm not going to get into that. So this is the contention that I have, right? And I know trouble. I know what she was. I know what she was trying to say, because I used to. I thought the same way for many years, and like I said, I know what you were in trouble with trying to say, and others that kind of touched upon it. I thought like that for many years, like where you say, why do the Native Africans? Why do they think so negatively about us? And what's with all these tropes and all this propaganda about Black Americans, baby mamas and gangsters and pants hanging down and gold teeth? Let me say this. the same people that colonized us in North America are the same people that colonized the native Africans, right? Europeans, they taught, and they still to this day, they keep up that propaganda about Black Americans today, and this is why. This is my observation. I was like KR, the great KR, someone said, this is my philosophy, right? Okay, check this out. You talk about a people, and I'm talking about us. Like, I still a phrase from Tariq that we experienced in the ethnogenesis. You talk about a people that exited slave ships, right? In cuffs and neck chains and ankle chains and all that, right? We were literally, for lack of a better term, we were left for dead on this side of the world. Out of sight, out of mind, right? Enslaved, beat, hung, sexually assaulted. Like I said, the ancestral history destroyed. We like it was a young lady that spoke earlier that all the traces of Africa were literally beaten out of us. So, like I said, people left for dead. Damn it. I apologize, Lou. I keep getting a damn phone call. But like I said, it's good, brother. Yeah, we were left for dead. Now follow me on this. Those same people that were left for dead and were made slaves and we were literally mocked by the whole world. Look at how special we are. Oh, man, calling me shit. Anyway, we were left for dead, right? Out of those people that were left for dead, out of that, it literally came people that went on to perform heart surgery, the cotton gin, whiskey, let's say Jack Daniels, the home security system, the light bulb. Like I say, out of that group of people, the whole world mobbed. This is what came out of that. You get Michael Jordan came out of the cotton fields, and Michael Jackson, Mike Tyson, and all those other Black Americans the world admires came out of that group of people. So what I'm saying is that, and speaking of trouble and you and everybody else, the reason those people resist us coming over there, it's not them in particular, right? It's what they've been fed for centuries, because I believe this. Like I said, look at the mud that we came out of, and look at the condition that we came out of to be admired by the whole world. They know if Black Americans, if they let us in the continent of Africa in large numbers, all the diamonds that they deny the native Africans, the cobalt, the silver, everything precious, if Black Americans get a hold of that continent, we taking that shit. And they know that. Eventually we will be the ones to own all of that, and they fight tooth and nail to let us come to that continent, for us not to come to that continent. And I'll mute up and listen.
All right.
Can we unify with people that sold us for
Hey, hold on one sec. Hold on. What? Don't hold on. Wait 1 second. Whoever's speaking, let me go ahead. I don't know if that was you, FBA. Let me go ahead and get to Love I Am, because she's a new speaker, and I'll come back and get to you. Love I Am, I know you want to speak too, because I saw you with the hand signs up as well too. But Love I Am, go ahead, and I'll get to you, FBA. You there?
I don't know if speak after a submission like that without being insulting to the individual who gave it. Because it's like,
News, it's gonna go bad. I'm telling you right now, but I'm listening.
it's like, do you hear yourself?
Absolutely, I do.
And you, first of all, it's a rhetorical question. Please do not interrupt me, because I could have interrupted you. And
I don't think you can. You must think you're talking to your mom. I'm not her.
Okay. Real quick, Black Pressure. Yeah, let the sister go ahead and speak. We'll go ahead and we'll move it around the room, but let her go ahead and speak. Everybody, we're going to be respectful. Let the speaker speak. Nobody come off the mic, and we will get to everybody. Go ahead, love. I am.
You must think you're my dad, and you're not. With that being said, it's like people are cleaving to these fables that are rooted in logical fallacy. You're not an African. The term was applied to the continent. The term wasn't even applied to the entire continent until the 17th century. Even those individuals that dispossessed a group of people over there and selling them into captivity, they didn't even identify as African during that time. That was not a thing. So you had many dark races on the continent, and you had dark race in America as well. So it's like, you're not an African. The people who did all of that greatness here, they're indigenous Americans. That's
Yeah, they fell out of retreat.
I don't want to be
Came from nowhere.
I don't want to be interrupted by a man. I don't even have the
Come on, Pressure. Come on, yeah, Pressure. Let us speak.
News, you know I can't. You know.
No, you got it. No, you got to let us speak now. And then
you know you can't what? Have self-control to wait till I'm done? That is weird. I just got off work. I don't want to be interrupted by somebody that I can't speak louder than.
Only fan.
Wait your turn. That's weird. You're a whole man. Anyway, you're cleaving to fables. Like, this guy won't even mute up though. Like, this is real weird for real. And this is why it be so, like, it's like it's just like I just want to come to the space and contribute as well. If you come after me and say, oh, that was some dumb shit Love I Am said, I don't care. Just mute up. Anyways, these people are cleaving to these fables that are rooted in logical fallacy. You have a people who have built, innovated since antiquity. You are not just a group of generic Africans that came off of a slave ship and was brought over to the Americas and handcuffed and chains and look how you overcame. Like, that is dumb. That's not going to sustain anyone going into this new era, okay? That's weird. So my point is that, and I wanted to speak to the title though. I just didn't expect that to come before I got a chance to. Now, I do think Umar, I went to see him in Cincinnati back in 2013 or 14, I believe it was. And when I was able to hear him and be up close to him, I put him down because, to be honest, to go see him, you're not gonna. That spirit that he has with him is not gonna resonate with you, and that's why he keeps calling us Africans. And like he was talking about, it's like I wonder. He's on an auto program. Like he's auto programmed that way. He's like on a program that's just running. Like if you understand how this matrix works, you will understand that there are people who are literally just programmed and they just go on auto program. They don't have they're not coming from a higher spiritual consciousness, right? They're not coming from a receiving, download, upload, he's on autopilot. Like he's literally just regurgitating, okay? He was over on Clubhouse and you know, the Black Americans were very off-put by him, but you know who was more off-put? Africans. They ran him the fuck off of there.
Oh, language. Go ahead.
They ran him off of there. He came over there trying to do a script. He thought he was going to have some range, and it was so pleasant to watch Ethiopians go to the stage. The Somalis were ultimately who got the job done, okay? How does pan-Africanism, how do you superimpose an ideal of pan-African as a Black? And he was given secondhand embarrassment when he was trying to speak on Africa, okay? This man is not knowledgeable on the nuances of what's going on in these individual countries. He's not a thought leader. He's literally just on autopilot. He's like a program in the Matrix. Like literally, it just reminds me of like a computer program that's just set up to run, okay, and run interference at this point. I vehemently dismiss the notion of making us some generic Africans when I know that at no point in time did melanated humans more specifically, operate in this single homogenous identity. I don't appreciate that Umar wants to talk about the Portuguese or these Spaniards, but doesn't want to address the fact that the Edo tribe that first made contact with them, they were business partners. Okay? So it's like, it's a lot of disingenuous discussion. You had a particular dark race that was on the African continent, not Africans. These are people who literally circumnavigated the globe, okay? They were exiled into Africa, and they existed on that West Coast. They were easy to identify. They were taken into captivity. There was an entire trade going on there. What happened was that these Africans were not familiar with the nature of these deceitful Europeans, okay? These pale-skinned people, and they were subsequently captured and then too brought to America. We're not the same people, okay? This planet was once all melanated, okay? It doesn't make sense for at this day and age for black, quote unquote, to solely denote Africa. Dark races are the original humans of planet Earth, okay? So with that being said, there were people in all of these places who were dark race people. These are not all the same people. And it's just like, at this point, I'm seeing people get information and reject it. Umar does it. This is a man who is amassed wealth off of going around to Black Americans and being on autopilot and just spouting off the program. Do you think as many people as I've seen and he's encountered that just told him the truth, including actual Africans, he literally got ran off of Clubhouse by Africans, okay? We didn't even have to do nothing. Black Americans literally said, hey, let's work smarter, not harder. Let the Somalis expose him. That's exactly what happened. No one is effing with this auto program. So it's just like, I don't know why we do this to ourselves. And I'm really just looking forward to, actually, I think that some people are just going to be trapped in the matrix. I don't know why they just won't ascend to higher levels of consciousness. The story you're telling doesn't even make sense, okay? You don't come out of slavery, captivity, and then go on to have 50,000 invent patents during Reconstruction and literally be responsible for, no, this is we were continuing the innovation of what we have already done in old world, ancient world. Those are our people. So it's just like, it's weird. I land though.
All right.
News, can I jump in? Can I jump in?
Give me hold on one second. I got a couple super chats that I need to read from Chosen 619. He says, no slave trade without African help. Bottom line, says slave trading was big business for Africa. They fought to maintain it. Also, colonization was merely karma. So this is from Chosen 619. FBA, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and let you speak on it as well. Before, real quick, I just want to ask Love I Am a quick question. So, Love I Am, you're saying that you don't believe that any Africans were brought over here, like mixed in with the actual indigenous group? Is that what you're saying?
I didn't say that within my submission. There were many dark races on the planet. There was a group of, they were referred to as Negroes. That population there had the term Negro applied to them before the term African was applied to them. People don't realize that there was a Negro race, an Ethiopian race, Egyptian race. These are dark races, more than one. And within, and there were various tribes that comprise those racial identities. What I'm saying is that this one particular dark race was sold into captivity by the dark races on the continent. Then the European doubled back and started capturing those other dark races as well. Fast forward to 2024, we are all erroneously identified as a single homogenous group when we've never existed as such since the beginning of time. I don't know how to make it any more plain than that.
Okay.
May I jump in now?
Go ahead, go ahead real quick. Go ahead real quick. Go ahead.
All right. At the end of the day, right? We're not a monolith, right? And like Love I Am said, we're not. We was all over the globe. For example, it's like Asia. You don't compare all of them because they all got chinky eyes and they look the same. Call a North Korean person Chinese, they get offended. Call a Japanese person North Korean, they get offended. So with Umar Johnson, he kind of put us in this monolith kind of bubble and stuff like that, and that's not right. You know what I'm saying? And to deal with a group of people that sold us for guns and mirrors is not cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't align with them. And being that we are the innovators of everything that makes the world go round, from the light bulb, the refrigerator, the list go on and on and on and on and on and on. I mean, the people that were sold into captivity. You know what I'm saying? We can't align ourselves with people from Africa like that, because at the end of the day, it's a continent. Like, what the fuck? Like, that's like,
hey, y'all gotta watch the language. You gotta watch the language. Go ahead.
Excuse me. It's like people trying to say, all people from Asia is the same. You got East Indians that align themselves with Asia and stuff like that. Like, at the end of the day, it makes no sense when it comes down to these things. You know what I'm saying? We don't align ourselves with people without the same mind frame as us and do what we do. And we see that because when they come over here, they have a white supremacy ideology. You know what I'm saying? And it shows that we don't think the same as them. You see, most Africans, they want to lighten their skin. I'm not trying to say all. I'm saying most. The key word is most. Lighten their skin, cape stoke. They want to do all these European things and go along with white supremacy. So how can we align ourselves with people like that? And that's why we at the point of 2024 going into 2025, we delineate ourselves from people. And the two sisters was cooking it. Like, they know history. And if you don't understand history, historical history on the aspect on what was going on, how we are where we at right now, and most of them, they don't even understand that point. They don't know it. If you ask these Africans coming over here about Malcolm X and what we did to Jim Crow and everything, they don't care about that. It's irrelevant, and that's disrespect right there. So we can't align ourselves with people like that. And then we have some that understand the history, but they go along with white supremacy. You know what I'm saying? And besides going along with white supremacy, then we have people from the Caribbean island that was in captivity like us. We have too many fights going on. But yet, you know what I mean? They was Willie Lynch. They got the Willie Lynch going on. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, hey, you know what? Whether you from Jamaica, whether you from Africa and all that stuff, the Pan-African, that's dead. 2024, dead. We're not going along with that. And then anyone that know real world history, archaeological history, that what happened, we've been through this from Egypt, throughout the continent, so forth. I'm just talking in general on it. I don't want to get into details. We know better. It's just like, we're not doing this no more. Like, hey, you this, you that, you that. Everybody have their cultural difference, and it shows throughout history that we've been a one people that everybody followed, made all the inventions, Everything that's going on with us, we get it popping. And then when it comes down to us standing on business saying like, hey, we created this. We created the light bulb. We did this. We did that. Oh, the white man this, the white man that, this and the third. From all these other people. And especially, look, I get it more from the Africans than anybody else. And that just goes to show we can't align with someone that sold us for mirrors and guns. I'll land my plane there.
All right, let me go ahead. I want to go ahead and get back to Black Pressure. Pressure, go ahead and unmute your mic.
All right, what up, Nose? So check this out. It's obvious that the person that spoke before this young man had a soapbox and she wanted to preach. That's fine. I don't care. We've had this conversation in your spaces, News, for 2 years. We've encountered people that think like that. I always say critical thinking is undefeated. It's never been defeated. Every inhabitant of every continent, excluding Antarctica, all the people that inhabit all the other continents have written extensively, also oral tradition, you can't discount that, of the tentacles of the transatlantic slave trade. Every continent, all different ethnicities and races have written about, and like I say, oral history about the effects of the transatlantic slave trade. I'm not going to go into that. I'm going to go into this real quick. I'm going to dust my broken record off, and I'm going to mute up, go back to working out, and I'm going to listen to everybody. I've heard, and it plenty times, and it's mostly niggas that did off their 11 years for food stamp fraud, went to the penitentiary. That's where they learned that shit at. So I say this.
Language, but go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry, Noob. I apologize, brother. And like I say, we've had this conversation in these spaces before. I am the first one to tell anybody, before the transatlantic slave trade crossed into the Western Hemisphere, there were already black people in what we call North America and the Caribbean. I'll be the first one to tell anybody that. But, like I said, I'm going to dust off my broken record. There is not an individual nor group of people that did not descend from a predecessor. Everyone living today descended from somebody. There is no people group that fell out of a tree. So I always tell everybody, you could believe that Dane Calloway BS if you want about these mythical black people in the Western Hemisphere that fell out of a tree. I say this, the black people that were here in the Western Hemisphere, where did they come from? Because if you say they didn't come from anywhere, that means you believe they fell out of a tree. I'm going to say this again. There is no group of people that did not descend from a predecessor. Everyone came from someone else. So all those people that, the slave trade never happened, which 5,000 years of history will disagree with that. And I say 5,000 years, the Arabs engineered the transatlantic slave trade. It started with the Africans. It started with the Arabs. The only thing the Arabs didn't cross the water with it, the Europeans did. But like I say, I'm going to ask again, and I'm going to mute up and listen. This mythical bloodline of black people that were already in the Western Hemisphere, where did they come from? And I'll mute up and listen.
Well, real quick, Precious, she was saying that I think Love I Am was saying that they did actually have a transatlantic slave trade, but she was saying that you had different groups of what I guess you would call melanated people in Africa, and our descendants were different than the actual what she said. I believe she said Ethiopians and other groups you had on that actual continent.
Hey, look, okay, that's fine. Every black person that was in the Western Hemisphere before the transatlantic slave trade is a genetic African, period. Like I say, if you want to live in the land of make-believe, guess what? Knock yourself out. I'm not going to lose no sleep, but I'm going to agree with every scholar from every ethnicity, every race, all the ancient people that wrote about it, all their oral traditions. You could look at the bill of sale for the slaves. look at all that stuff. I'm not gonna get into that. We could talk all night, but I'm gonna say this again. And News, you've heard me say this. I issued an open challenge to anybody, and it still stands to this day. Anybody, if you believe that you're not a genetic African, you pick whichever DNA lab you want to go through. Let these people swab your mouth, send it off. I will pay for it. I say this in front of everybody, and if you can pick which one you want, I will pay for it. And when you send it off and you get it back, your ass is gonna be African, and I'll mute up and listen.
All right. Let me go ahead and get to
Humans come from Africa.
hold on, FBA. You gotta raise your hand before you just start going in. Let me go ahead and get to Trouble, and then we're gonna get to Love I Am as well too. Nope, sorry, I didn't mean to hit the mute button.
It's all good. Real quick, so I agree with the person who was in your super chat that said Africa is undergoing karma right now. They absolutely are undergoing karma. They're going to continue to go through karma, and every other group, every other nation that transgressed against us is going to face that karma and realize that they're getting that karmatic justice. That's why your lands keep getting invaded. You keep having coups in your countries, and your leaders are janky because that's the Most High spanking that ass. So until you repent for your sins against Black Americans, you're going to continue to go through these things, these practices that you're going through. Nothing less than that. I agree with FBA is the Messiah. No, you didn't. But if I agree with FBA is the Messiah on the when you think about the different groups of people, like he mentioned the Asians, you've got the East Indians, you've got the North Koreans, South Koreans, Japanese and Chinese, and all of those groups of people will fight the hell out you if you confuse them for the other ones. Same thing with Spaniards and Mexicans and Latinos. That's why you got names like Spaniards, Mexicans, and Latinos, and they all kind of look like the same people. They kind of look like Asians that eat burritos. You know, they all kind of got that look. So it's weird to me that out of all of these groups of people on the planet, everybody else is separate and came from separate people, but all Black people on the planet is from one group of people. Now, I will agree with Black Pressure on the point that I think that, like he said, all groups of people had to have a predecessor, came from somewhere. But I think until there is more information about this landmass that we all share universally on this earth, that we cannot necessarily say that all Black people came from Africa. If that is the case, then everybody came from Africa. Everybody's predecessors was from Africa, if that is the case. But
not necessarily, but I see where you're going.
Well, where I'm going is, at one point in time, before the continental drift,
The out of Africa theory, but go ahead, Trouble. I'm sorry.
Out of Africa theory, but at the same time, before the continental drift, if you look at all of these countries, you could really see how they were all connected together at one time.
Pangea.
Yeah. So
Pangea is the theory, though. They remember that.
I mean, well, yeah, true, but I'm just going to say common sense, because to me it's common sense when you look at the globe and you see where all the countries sit at. You could literally piece them back together, save for the ocean in between. Now, if that water wasn't there, you could see the landmass and how all of these countries would connect to each other. So then that means that look, Black people, we travel. We don't stay in no one spot. We all over the place. So if all of these land masses was connected, it doesn't. You could easily say, well, we all were in different places, so we left from one spot and went to another. How long does it take for one group of people to become another group of people? A lot of people over the historical times have changed into different groups of people because you're mating with other groups of people. But why is it that Black Americans specifically are the only ones that people want to relegate to just being pure Africa? Well, yeah, it came from Africa. You couldn't have just been, your own group of people. Hell, Africans couldn't have came from you. It's weird to me that We can look at the Spanish people and say that they're different people. We can look at all of the groups of Asians and say that they're Asian people. But when we look at black people, whether you're from the Bahamas, the Caribbean, America, or wherever the hell you're at in this world, we just all just happen to be the same group of people. And I don't believe that. So I'll land right there.
All right.
And you can see Africa splitting right now to add on to what she's saying. So it's not a myth.
Hold on real quick, FBA. Let me real quick.
It was a theory. You didn't say it was a myth. It's a theory.
Everything is a theory. When you look at the Bering Strait, when you look at the Outer African theory, because let's be honest, none of these people were here at the time all this stuff happened. So everything, the creation of the universe or the planet, everything pretty much is a theory. Because none of us was there.
Right. You're
Yeah.
absolutely right.
Real quick, let me read this.
I will say this real quick. Just I'm not fighting trouble, and just say Pangea did exist, right? And that was really a thing. Human beings didn't exist then. There was no human beings when there was a Pangea. But I'm mute up and listen.
Real quick.
Going back to that cigar, he's crazy with that. I'm sorry, brother. I mean, he's saying crazy things that need the corrections. Like, you can't throw things out there like that and be incorrect.
Okay, well, we can't what we can't do, y'all, is cut the host off when he's speaking. Like, in a couple of times I got ready to speak, we having some of the actual speakers actually speaking over me. So at this moment, I'm going to speak. And once I speak, then we'll go ahead and we'll get to the next speaker and everything. If you want to speak, raise your hand as well, too. But we constantly can't keep having when the host gets ready to speak, having to raise my voice to try to speak over you guys. So y'all gonna have to kind of flow with my direction of how this space is going. We're not gonna be in here too much longer either. So real quick, Chosen 619 has 2 super chats. And shout out to Chosen 619 because we still ain't got a cash app tonight, but Chosen 619 has hit us up with a couple super chats. He says the first one says, white Jews, Africans all have turned on each other now. It's the Most High's judgment for enslaving us. Chosen 619 also said Africans don't harass Brazilians to return. Okay, so Chosen 619, my FBA Be Like says, teach your children about the threat in our communities pertaining to Black immigrants. This is serious. So FBA, my FBA Be Like just left a message over there as well too. Let me go ahead and get to Love I Am. FBA, because you keep speaking, so I'm assuming FBA is a Messiah. I'm gonna go ahead and get to you. We're not gonna go ahead and we're not gonna keep the space going open too much longer because I actually intended to go ahead and close it down at 10 o'clock, so it's a little bit longer than I actually anticipated. But I would like to get at least $1 in cash app from somebody tonight to support the platform as well too. Love I Am, sister, go ahead and you unmute your mic. FBA is a Messiah. I'm assuming that you want to speak, so I'm gonna go ahead and get to you after that as well too. So let me go ahead and shout out to Nightfall for the contribution on Cash App. Shout out to you, Nightfall. But Love I Am, go ahead and unmute your mic.
So America is the ancient world. You had, and the Negro race is an ancient human population. Semitic bloodline, true Semitic bloodline, okay? Not the false, but the true. So it's documented that you had Semitic tribes in the Americas. But it's also documented that Negro race, who were nomadic, traveled everywhere, which is how you had the Negritos in Eurasia. Yes, you had Negroes in Africa, okay? But you also had different dark races on that African continent that are not Negroes. They are not Negroes in the past, and they are not Negroes today. And while I do recognize the term Negro is a misnomer, just as is the term Africa is a misnomer. However, when you go back to the utilization of that term Negro in Africa as applied to Negro land, the application of that term to a specific group predates the term African being applied to that same group. Like I said, the term Africa is a myth. I don't know if I said it in the space I say it so often. The
the term Africa is a misnomer that was not applied to the entire continent until the 17th century. So I even have to ask Africans, what did you call yourselves prior to the 17th century? Okay, I've never had that question answered. Now, with that being said, if a American Negro does their DNA test, the spit test, and it takes you back to the west coast of Africa, it's taking you back to Negro land, where they literally had the kingdom of Judah was in Negro land. With that being said, that only takes you back to the 14th century, okay? And so all it's telling you is that your ancestors inhabited this region, which nothing that I said negates that. But I'm saying that you had the bulk of Negro race, Shemitic bloodline in the Americas, okay? Even that's why it's no coincidence that those indigenous populations, it's no coincidence that they classified them as Negroes first. They didn't classify them as Africans. We have never been identified the same as Africans until modern history, okay? We have our ancestors who wrote literature said, we are not Africans. The term Africa is a misnomer. Why send the Negro back to a land that's not his own? I literally was in a live yesterday with some people down in the Caribbean, okay? These people literally said they don't have no African DNA. They don't even know Africa. Something in their spirit let them know they belong right here in that part of the Americas, okay? So with that being said, I'm literally, no one is refuting anything that I've said. I'm literally saying that you had dark races. I'm giving an argument for reparation as well. Because if you go to white people and you talk about some reparation, they're going to refer you back to Africa, as long as you're calling yourself an African, okay? I'm literally saying there was a dark race that dispossessed a particular dark race, and they have been just as harmful as these pale-skinned group of people, okay? So with that being said, if you're talking about a spit, this is why we encourage you do your paper genealogical record, where you list your family members and go back, is because you will see that your people were here. You won't have to literally jump over to Africa and try to figure out the same DNA test that this guy is talking about. The same DNA test can't show you a single relative that you have today in Africa, and there's a reason for that. Okay, so it's back to a place DNA wise, but you don't have any mod. That doesn't make sense. So what are we talking about? But my point is that, and it's more information, the more we actually need to go after these corporations that amass their wealth off of the Negro body as the first capital. These corporations are going to be forthcoming with the information about who it was that they stole from, who it was whose inventions they stole. And I know factually that the conversation is going to come about some innovators and some builders here, okay? Some free people that were here, not some people that were shackled, some free people that were here, some agriculturalists, some horticulturalists, some carpenters, some blacksmiths, some scientists, some geneticists. Like, literally, this is the ancient world, okay? And those people travel outward. And so it's like, and then the thing about it is, you can't refute me. You can't refute me. All you can literally do is refer me to a theory. And even in doing that, you literally have to subject your consciousness to the thought process of a reprobate life type that didn't even exist in ancient history. So how the fuck would that, excuse me, how
Oh.
yeah, so I'm done. But I'm done. My point is that
Don't disrespect the sister.
referring us to, yeah, he was just following me. I literally unfollowed. I had him unfollow me.
So, shit. So,
Okay. All right, y'all.
Y'all got
Stop disrespecting me.
All right, y'all. Hold on a minute. So at the end of the day, right, what happens is, one, I don't understand why we just can't stop cussing. That's first of all. You know what I mean?
I don't understand that either, but go ahead.
Yeah. And just the other thing is, stay in your microphone, man. You know what I'm saying? If y'all really, Dr. John Henry Clark in the flesh, and you're great at debating people. I don't debate my equals. I don't debate anyone less than that. So it's like, I had a decency to just stay on your microphone and just let people flow and just not disrespect no one. And we don't have to acknowledge that anyone's disrespecting anyone because we all family. Go ahead.
Yeah, not only that, but we're gonna let you guys respond as well too. So just go ahead and let the person finish up. Don't cut them off. Let them finish up, and then if you want to respond to what that person is saying, we'll go ahead and we'll let you respond as well too. But Love I Am, I'm gonna go ahead and go to the next speaker. FBA is a Messiah. Did you want to say something real quick?
I'm here, brother. Land them planes. I'm trying to talk to with a show over. I don't never get all right. Dang, land them planes. No, sir.
Look, the sister is cooking. I feel what she's saying. Like, my thing is this, right? Like she said, DNA. If you spit in a cup, your DNA go all over the globe. You know what I'm saying? Because at one point we was everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Negroes was everywhere. You know what I'm saying? You might find yourself in Europe, here and there. You know what I mean? Just to hit off that point what she was saying. Second of all, you know what I'm saying? So what the brother was saying, like, we all come from Africa. It's a continent. The same way the United States is a continent. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it's different people living on that continent.
United States is a country, sir. Go ahead, though.
It's a continent too.
Well, North America is the continent that the United States is in, but go ahead.
All right, facts. If you're going to correct me. But at the end of the day, my thing is, we're all over the globe. My thing is this, you know what I'm saying? We're not the same people. We're not a monolith. Everybody came, like scientifically, everybody come from Africa. You know what I mean? Everyone, white, black, Chinese, like mankind come from Africa at one point. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, we're not the same people. So when I hear the brother say, you come from Africa, this and that, but why nobody else can say, look, you have other people say, they don't say they come from Africa. Even people that's from Africa, they don't say I'm African, I'm Nigerian, I'm Sudanese, I'm this, I'm that. So we gotta stop saying that at this point. And Negro is something that is known that's one Pacific people. So when we try to put ourselves on this pan-African thing and stuff like that, they don't mind. You can call yourself Negro, you call yourself Afro-American, you can call yourself anything else but Black American. And that's done for a specific reason. Because when they start talking about the wrong that was done and what's going on, whoa. It's like, you African. Or your own people sold you into slavery and stuff like that. And then when you look at it historically, like, hold up, we're not the same people. And there's one tribe, there's a different tribe that sold another tribe into slavery. Like, we're not the same people. We're Negroes. And when you look at the historical context, we was always called Negro. If you look at certain things in America, it says Negro. Some of the things says Negro Israelites. You know what I'm saying? But I won't even get into that. But we know who we are, and we have a lot of people that's tethering to us. You know what I mean? And they're doing that for a specific reason, because we were sold over here, and we think about everything. We built Egypt. We was enslaved there. Went over to America. From America, I'm sorry, I can't get it out. The sub-Saharan slave trade, that was the first thing that happened before the transatlantic slave trade. You got to understand where the white man get it from. They learned it from the Arabs, not the same people. There was the dark-skinned, melanated people that sold other people into slave. Then we went to, we was in
India, if you look in India, you know, you have one subclass people treating another sub. They look the same, speak the same language, but they're two different people over there, and they treat them as a bottom class people, just how we get treated in America, in India. I mean, the caste system that's going over there in India. From there, the transatlantic slave trade happened and stuff, and then it was moving us all over the place, and now we are our own people right here in America, still thriving and surviving, making inventions, doing what we're doing throughout history and stuff like that. And they hate it. Other people, other tribes hate it. So now they're trying to make us a monolith. And then we have white supremacy, people with this white supremacy ideology, excuse my language, I'm stuttering a little bit, ideology, and trying to put us all as a group, as a whole, and it's not happening. And now we delineating, and we're separating ourselves. Now it comes this pan-African. We're all one. We're all going through this at the same time. No. We fighting our fight over here. You're fighting your fight over there. And at the end of the day, I'm not going to make this whole drawn out synopsis on what I'm saying, but most of the people in the room know history. They dig. They understand what's going on. And people that's trying to put us as a monolith, we have a problem with that. You're going to get pushback. And this Pan-African stuff is dead.
Hey, I got to get you to land your plane, FBA. So let me go ahead and
I'm landing after that. It's dead. But other than that, yo, I appreciate you, News. Love you.
All right, appreciate that. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Let me give a shout out to my girl. Miss Trigger, and let me go ahead and give a shout out to Chosen 619. A couple more super chats. Says FBA Histories Parallel Deuteronomy 28. We are Judah. Also says we are Judah is the biblical prophecy. So shout out to Chosen 619. I'm gonna let DJ get it in. I know he wants to go ahead and say something. We're gonna get ready to close this thing out for the night as well, too, guys. We'll be back tomorrow night. Go ahead, DJ.
Yeah, shout out to the room. Great conversation as usual. So I'll just say this because I know it's time to close out shop. So Travis Hunter, yeah, just listen to Dion, go get that prenup, bro. You know what I'm saying? So I'll send you something in the DM2 Newstoter. So Kevin Sanders is right. That's all I got, Travis Hunter. You know what I'm saying? And congratulations on the Heisman. You're going to do great in the NFL, bro. But yeah, follow that wave. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, Umar, nobody even knows if he's a real doctor or not. You know what I'm saying? That's something we still need to go over. Pan-Africanism is dead. It's paid time. I keep telling y'all this. You know what I mean? You got folks like Umar, who is not even of our lineage, you know what I'm saying, or our tribe. He's from another, you know what I'm saying, that got dropped off somewhere else, you know what I'm saying? Trying to tell us what to do. Because we don't tell his folks where he from what to do. You know what I'm saying? So why is he telling us what to do? Other thing is, too, when you got folks like him, and I did want to play the video, but I guess it's too late. But, when you got folks like him, just like you saw in the segment of Joe Budden podcast, shout out to Jersey City in the building, you already know. When you got folks like that like to talk over people, they ain't about anything. You know what I'm saying? Because they really can't debate you. You know what I'm saying? On when they're being questioned about X, Y, Z, ABC. You know what I mean? So pretty much to deflect, because that's what Umar did. So old boy on the shark, he getting his lane, light skinned bro. You know what I mean? He's just deflecting the question. You know what I mean? At hand. So when you got folks that do that, you should question their lineage. Because I'm out here every day talking to people about reparations. And when I come across the Umars, pretty much like what you saw, how he was like so defensive and deflective, I already know what time it is, B, so it ain't no need to argue with you. You know what I'm saying? Go and shoot yourself in the foot. This is why a lot of the times we just need to be quiet and just watch. Listen more, talk less, man. That's the game. That's the rule. You know what I mean? This is why your elder always told you be quiet. You're not paying attention. You know what I mean? And as far as transatlantic slave trade and all that other stuff, you know what I'm saying? I ainain't from no Africa. post Civil War. You know what I'm saying? I'm from Crenshaw Mafia by way of Brick City. You already know what time it is. Next space, no man.
All right. So on that note, guys, we're gonna go ahead and close it down for the night. We will see y'all tomorrow. Catch DJ in the next space. Peace. Be safe and have a good one.
Good night, everybody. And DJ, Kevin, tell you what's wrong.